Hello, I'm Eagle Gardens 1 on Instagram. And this is fucking Talking Shit with Eagle, episode 521. Hopefully, you guys have had a great day. I've had a pretty good day myself. Gonna have another great episode tonight. SFV Genetics is in the house. How you doing, my friend? You want to tell us how you're doing? Of course, where we can find you.
I'm doing great today, Eagle. Long time listener, first time shit talker. So I'm happy to be here. You can find me at sfv genetics on Instagram or sfvgenetics818 at Gmail for all your inquiries and questions.
So, hopefully, you brought something to smoke on tonight. What'd you bring? What you bring to the
Yeah,
table?
I got a little joint here. I got a dab set up and a pipe packed with a bowl. So I think I'll start off with this TK NL5 haze times moonshine haze from AK Bean Brains. I grew it last year outdoors, and it's pretty clean smoke, and it doesn't get you too fucked up. It's kind of like a more cerebral kind of mental high. So figure I'd start with that. What about you?
I'm smoking a little bit of a six shooter from Empire Breeding Co. Pretty
Nice.
good on the gassy side of things. Definitely good smoke. Boy, that TK is definitely a good base for a
Yeah.
nice strong strain.
Yeah, the TK NL5 that I got from him was the when I grew them out, I did an F2, and I grew the F2s out, and it was like a real heavy, like sedative, put your eyes in like a sleeping bag kind of high, where you was like hard to kind of see what you were doing, and like kind of just wanted to chill out. So, but the NL5 haze with the moonshine, it's kind of just it's a nice balance, I guess.
Five, so a nice strain as well. So we might as well cut to the chase and get right to it. We usually start off right in the beginning.
Yep.
When did cannabis come into your life? When was that first time?
I remember kind of like my older brother smoking, and we would take turns playing video games on the computer. And when it was his turn to not play the video games, he would go to the window in like our old my family's house and just blow this. I remember him lighting some like a joint and blowing it out the window. And I was just kind of like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm smoking. Just don't say anything." So I kind of that was my first experience like seeing somebody smoke. But when the first time I got high was on the Millennium, and it was the 2000, like the world was going to end or whatnot. And I was up at a buddy's house in the hills up here in the valley, and he pulled some stuff out of his parents' sock drawer, and it was like a Coke can, and he like dented it in, and I remember him poking holes in it with like a fork, like really cheap, crazy pipe. And it was they were all smoking before, and they're like, "Oh, you got to do it." So I went to take a hit, and they lit the weed with like a lighter, and I went to inhale, and the weed just went straight to the back of my throat, and I just fucking coughed, and the weed that was on the Coke can just exploded off into the fucking dirt, and I like blew. I was able to get a hit in, but I instantly choked and coughed it out. So I kind of like they're like, "Oh, get out of here! You fucked up the vibe." So I just remember later that day or that night we were all hanging out watching cartoons and stuff, and I somehow ended up underneath a bunk bed, like just sitting there like really they were all saying you're not going to get high your first time, that kind of thing. So I ended up just like coming through. I was like underneath a bunk bed, just like going nuts, like just freaking out kind of. And then yeah, that was pretty much my first time like smoking weed, I guess. So there's that story.
You know, I heard you mention there the old blow it out the window. Did that ever work? I mean,
No, I don't think it
I'm
did. I don't know what he was thinking. It must have stunk so bad. My parents were probably just cool about it and kind of because he was babysitting me most of the time. It was my older brother. So he was like probably a senior in high school or just out of high school. And I was probably like 8 or 9. So he was on babysitting duty. So he kind of got to do whatever he wanted, I guess.
never worked for me any session. So
No, it's an instant bus.
I kind of put that right next to the. You ever see the? I think it was the Friday Part 2 when they're blowing it into the vacuum.
Oh, yeah. That's a classic. For sure. For sure.
So where did it go from there? I mean, it couldn't have. Was it a nice
Uh,
delay for a while?
yeah, that
Obviously,
was,
9. That's pretty early.
yeah, it was, I think I was like 16, 17 or something. No, it was like 15 actually. Uh, but yeah, I took a break and then started up again in like senior year of high school and started to dabble in just whatever I could get my hands on. There was a couple of connects at school, I went with them, and then I worked at like a bagel shop for a while, and there was like a cook in the like a bagel, I guess it's a cook or a baker. He had a hookup, and I would go grab from him, but it was like this dirty brick, just wasn't great quality herb. So kind of dabbled around, and then I remember I had some seeds and I would kind of collect the seeds here and there when I got some stuff. And I had like a small room where I was living with my mom, and I had a drum set inside and the kick drum. So I ended up trying to plant some of the seeds in like a cup. And then I was trying to control the lighting and everything. So I put a light inside my kick drum with the solo cup with soil. And I kind of sprouted my first seed in my kick drum. For like starting to kind of mess around with like see how this thing works, put some seeds in the ground. But yeah, I just kind of dabbled from there, and then kind of took a break for a while, and then probably about 5 or 6 years ago I started getting back into it, but took a little detour and just played around with it when I was young, read some books and stuff, like kind of like explored it. But I ended up doing a tattoo apprenticeship at a Unbreakable Tattoo in Studio City here in the Valley. So I worked there for like 4 years, and then dabbled in that for a while, and then kind of just took a break and then got back into this. So kind of just messing around, having fun with it. Once you see how other people grow stuff and what they put in it and on it, and you kind of just wake up slowly and realize that you want to just take things in your own hands and just do it your way. And when you smoke your own weed, it's just like the ultimate feeling. So just a lot funner that way.
So, tattoo guy as well, huh? That's pretty
Yeah,
cool. You got a tattoo page?
I do. I have one, but I'll let you know like after the show. I don't like kind of mixing the two environments right now.
What?
Yeah, I
What?
mean, I don't want to be like,
They go hand in
yeah,
hand. You know
no,
that.
yeah, they do. They're both addicting and good for you. So,
Oh man, I am a terrible, terrible ink addict.
how
I,
when did you get your first tattoo?
I would think. Let's see, right around the proper date on it. I want to say it was 20. And
Okay,
the most cheesy tattoo too, and
nice.
I've got some. I like to think some pretty decent ink, and that's I've always left that first tattoo, and it's always the one like the smart ass picks out, and that's Buster Bunny there.
Oh my gosh, that's excellent. Bugs? Fuck yeah.
Buster, no,
Oh,
that's
Buster?
Buster. That's the Tiny Toon.
Okay, nice. Tiny Toons is even tighter, actually. That was my favorite. Hell yeah.
So
Excellent.
yeah, I'm actually done. Well, I'm up to the toes, to the hips, and then I've started I've got a good portion of the torso done, but I'm definitely far from done. So
Yeah.
I
No,
appreciate
it's
that you artists, that's for sure.
for sure. It's they always told me just get it over while you're young because the older you get, the more it hurts, and it's just you get crankier. And but yeah, I definitely got a jump start because working at the shop, you see a lot of people coming in and out, and you kind of see what each artist is good at, and I kind of got like a big piece from everybody at the shop, so it was kind of cool.
Shit, I've actually thought about taking it up these days just as an apprenticeship. I've got a lot of things I do, and I don't necessarily wouldn't wouldn't have to rely on it for like cash. You know what I'm saying? But it would be
Right.
fun to do. You
No, it
know,
is. It's
I'm a pretty good carpenter. I'm a pretty decent grower, and tattooing's another thing that you could like if you wanted to pick up and go somewhere. You know what
right.
I mean? All you'd have to do is grab that machine in your portfolio and guess a period, start your own shop. I mean,
Yeah,
possibilities are really endless.
for
But
sure. That's what kind of drawed me or drew me to that. Like, was the you're the boss, or not really, but I mean, if you work for a shop, then you gotta like work for the shop, but you kind of are your own boss and traveling and just being creative every day and kind of like I don't know if you've ever done a tattoo or you kind of like you get this feeling afterwards where it's like you created something that person's generally happy or uh, you just get like a sense of fulfillment. And I'd rather be focusing on something like that rather than kind of working like a 9 to 5 type of thing. But yeah, definitely. I got some machines here laying around. I could send them out to you if you want. You could stab your friends and line up the victims. It's not easy in the
I,
beginning. I had a lot of buddies that were like, "Hey, can you I don't know how many thighs I've tattooed, but in the first 6 months it was about 99% of my tattoos were all just in that scratch pad area right on their thighs, and I had a lot of friends line up and it helped out for sure. It's definitely the first few are kind of scary, but then you get that itch where it's like I can get good at this and just stay focused. And it's kind of about like just doing your routine, setting your machines up the same way, kind of like having your thing, like knowing what you're going to do before you do it, kind of thing, like drawing it up before, shading it, laying the stencil on the same way every time. You kind of get in that groove, and you can just once you get going, you can just bang them out, and you're just not really thinking about it. It's just kind of like just going with emotions.
and you guys make some pretty decent coin too these days. I mean, some of them good artists upwards to what $200 an hour can be
Yeah, for
worth it.
sure.
I mean, you walk away with a lifelong, a piece of art. You know what I mean? That's one of the things too. When I've talked to people about getting some ink, and they're like, never cheap. I wouldn't just like jump on cheap.
No.
You know that it's forever, and you're probably
Right.
gonna get what you pay for. So
For sure. Like they definitely tell you that in the beginning. Like you're not having to, if you don't get a consultation, you don't meet the artist and kind of like chit chat about what you want. And, there isn't like at least a month or two waiting period. It's, if he can get you in the next day, it's probably not a great tattoo artist. Or, I mean, if it's something small or like a snake, a rose, a skull or something, that the guy does every day, then yeah, he'll probably bang it out. But if it's like a custom full sleeve kind of thing, you definitely want to like, it's like 200 an hour for like a better artist out here in the LA area. But yeah, I don't
hopefully that's
know.
what you're getting, brother.
Uh, no, I don't charge those prices. I'm not that good. But yeah, definitely.
Just being modest.
No, for sure.
That's awesome. I definitely the two, I believe, they're interchanged quite well. And just throwing it out there, as far as like creativity and cannabis and all that goes, my artist doesn't smoke, but I wouldn't give a shit if they did. I've had past artists, and I have no problem with, hey, you want to go burn one right before?
Oh yeah,
It ain't hindering the work. It's gonna make anything but make probably better.
exactly. I don't think I've done a tattoo not on weed in like probably since my apprenticeship. I at the apprenticeship, it was a sober AA shop, so I got to meet all sorts of crazy guys coming in, like and those AA guys, they love their tattoos, dude. They're smoking cigarettes, Red Bull, and tattoos. That's the trinity of fucking that little spot I was at. It was crazy, but yeah, it was good times there, man. Lots of cool stories. I mean, I think you hang around tattoo shops, it's a cool vibe there, and it was before COVID, but now it's like fucking changed. But back in the day when you could hang out there and shoot the shit and see everybody getting their stuff done, and it was good times.
I still do. I was there today.
Oh, nice.
I'm literally, I'm like, I can't even pass by the place without popping in and saying hi and seeing who's getting work done. I'm quite the regular. I actually had on the guy's t-shirt up until right before the show.
Oh, nice.
Switch with a little cannabis, but I do advertise for it quite a bit. That's for sure.
Okay.
So, yeah, he's a good friend. But no, all right, back to cannabis.
Yeah, sorry.
Let's swing back to cannabis. Probably get back to tattoos, but back to cannabis. All right. So when did growing actually become like a serious thing for you? When did
I had a buddy that worked at like a dispensary kind of here in the valley for probably like 6 or 7 years, and I used to go hang out like on my Fridays at the dispensary, and I'd kind of like watch them set up shop in the back. It was just, they would have the dispensary in front. It was like all medical back then. I think it was like 2011 or 12. And they had a grow going on the side and upstairs. So I would go help out here and there, be the water boy, kind of just like learn the ropes and help out when they needed extra hand in the front kind of thing, just helping people out or whatnot. So I kind of saw what was going on, and I was like, okay, like dibble dabbled there. And then just kind of from there on out, just always had like a small tent or a real basic setup. I mean, the first time I grew, it was in an apartment, and it was in like the slider closet. So I went to the hydro store, kind of like grabbed some rock wool and like a bubble bucket. I wanted to try a couple different ways, and got some clones, started up there, and then just, didn't really know what I was doing. I read that like Grow Bible thing from Jorge Cervantes and got a couple books, and I didn't really know about any of the forums. So I kind of was just, just YouTube and stuff like that. So, but I grew those clones out, and within like 2 months, I just had like a T5 in there, and I switched the lighting and instantly just got the spider mites right away, and they just took over. I've never seen a spider mite or what they could do. They totally webbed the whole flower that I was growing. And I figured out that was, I have to fucking do some IPM. Figured out quick that was like just junk. So I chopped it all down. But that was like my first time growing and just, feeling it out. But I would say it kind of got a little bit more serious, like 2016. I went to like an Emerald Cup and bought like a bunch of seeds, and then came back. And then it was just like, I was just popping seeds ever since then. So it's kind of when I started the Instagram to kind of keep track of like what I was doing, because it's hard to keep track of all the crosses and all the names, and like, I try to take photos and updates all the time. So yeah, I would say it got a little bit more serious in 2016. And then just been working with like a tent, like a 4x8 tent, and a guest room, and then a gazebo. So I'm not like a big time guy. I'm just kind of like having fun with it, and just kind of like, you know, just like everybody else, just making a go at it, you know.
It should be having fun with it. But if you were miserable, then I wouldn't suggest doing it. You gotta love it. What were some of the first strains that you threw in that there time?
I think the first ones, it was all like OG, like Mad Max OG, Face Off OG, I think, or Diamond OG. It was all of these OG cuts, and it was like a real shady. It was just like a clone operation where it was like on Craigslist or something. And one of my buddies hooked me up with it. It was just like a random store front, and you walked in and it kind of looked like nobody was there, and then somebody would come out, and it was like, oh, what do you want? And you just tell them whatever, and I just grabbed a couple cuts there, and then um, from there, those all kind of turned out whack. So then I started to like, my cousin was popping some seeds like from Exotic Mike, like Kimbo Kush, Triple OG, kind of like some of his drops from like a few years back. So he popped those, and then that's when I went to Emerald Cup like a few months after, and just was like, I'm just gonna go get a bunch of stuff that I can, go meet the guy, talk to him, and grabbed a bunch of seeds from there. So that's kind of when the breeding started. But back in the day, I guess those cuttings were like my first kind of real go at it. But yeah, just kind of like went that route.
Was Emerald Cup your first cannabis event?
Um, I would say like my first real event. I think I went to a High Times one, but I think that was afterwards. Yeah, I would say Emerald Cup's pretty much the first event, and that was like the last year it was medical, so you were able to consume and sell, and it was a lot more open. And I think the next year after that they started to crack down because of legalization, and everybody had to have a license, full license, and all that. So it was kind of cool to see that last one.
How was the Emerald Cup? That's one thing that's like on the list of things to do, I mean, in the cannabis journey.
Yeah, dude, it was really cool. Like I definitely was like blown away at it, like just seeing all the types of crowd and kind of like the people watching, and seeing how like everybody kind of like mingled and was passing stuff around. And there's people like dressed up, and the booths are really cool. There was I think I saw DJ Short there. I got a bunch of seeds from Exotic Mike. He was super cool. I bought some of his forget, he had some flour there that was freaking really good. So we bought some of that, then got a bunch of seeds for him. Um, it was all in all a good. I went with one of my brothers, and he was really shocked, and I was kind of, I looked it up before and kind of knew what to expect on YouTube. But yeah, it was really fun, man. I recommend it. Like it's an amazing event. I met a bunch of people that I kind of didn't really know who I was meeting at the time. And then now I look back and I'm like, oh, I should have said this or talked to this person. And yeah, it was really cool.
I'm hoping to make it out there this year for the Emerald Cup. Fingers crossed. So I've never even been to Cali, but I think I'm gonna try to make it out there for this cup this year.
Yeah, you should do it. I'm planning on trying to go up for at least Saturday. I think it's like $100 a ticket. So if you're gonna go, I would say just book the room early, because I heard the rooms book up pretty quick. So especially if you want to stay in Santa Rosa. So I think the last time I went, I stayed in Frisco in the city, and then just drove up, and that's about 45 minutes to an hour. But uh, I don't know what you got planned, if you want to do some sightseeing and all that.
Uh, just go hang out for the event there. I hear there's a psychedelic kind of after party type thing there that I wouldn't mind being part of, I guess. Well,
Yes. Sounds good to me.
I'd hate to pass that part of it up. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go, you might as well go in head first.
I'm trying to get Tim back on the show. I threw, he was supposed to be on last week and we had to reschedule.
I'm
So
sure he's
hopefully we can
busy.
get him back on the show before the
Yeah,
I've
definitely.
had him on I've had him on before. He's actually a really cool dude. So I'm hoping to get him back on beforehand anyway. See if he can give us a little insight on this year's cup. So what's your growth style like? How do you grow? Let's go there.
I kind of started out messing around with like the salts, the hydro, rock wool and stuff like that, but kind of transferred over just to organic soil. I have like a worm bin, I have a compost tumbler. Um, just use like real basic soil, kind of top dress with down to earth or some like roots organic, or I've tried some of the stuff from Dragonfly Earth Medicine, their powder, their flower power, or I forget what it's called, but just tried a few different things and just kind of just keep it simple, man. I don't like feeding a lot of stuff. I kind of like seeing what the plants do just with real basic inputs. Um, Definitely been up in my worm game, composting, just throwing all my food scraps in there and kind of messing with that and having good results. So yeah, I would just say my style's kind of just, I can do different things, but I prefer organic soil, maybe a little cover crop type stuff, but I'm kind of like a free spirit. I don't really have like a specific, kung fu style. But
Boy, that free spirit gets bigger and bigger as the deeper you go into organics, I find.
for sure, I agree with that. It's just like you can, do so many different things with the organics and just the even the worms or the kind of bugs that you have in your soil food webs, like kind of just you can tweak it each way. And I don't know, I think just makes sense to me and it feels good. So I kind of rock it. So
A little disappointed in myself. I was hoping very much so by now to have earthworm bins going. But it hasn't happened as of yet. But it's not, it's still on the list. It's still part of the journey.
yeah, you gotta definitely be careful because in the beginning when I first got it, I just like loaded it up with I think it was like cocoa and some bedding stuff, and I threw some like just like Fox Farm or whatever soil I had at the time in there to kind of just build it up a little bit. And I was throwing all my food scraps in there, and I think we had a couple like raccoons or mice or I don't know what it was, but I had to ended up putting a brick on it because they would just rifle through it if the food was like too much, or you have to kind of bury the food, or else you'll get like maggots, flies. I kind of went to pop some seeds outside, and I popped them next to kind of like maybe like 5-10 feet away from the worm bin. And whatever was in the worm bin came over and just the seedlings were gone in like 2 days, like just ate through them. So I lost like, I forget what strain it was or cultivar, but definitely keep that thing like it works well, but it also attracts other shit. So kind of be careful.
Definitely a good source for the garden. And I'd like to do as much as I can, save myself as much cash as I can for myself. So it's definitely high on the list. Although I don't know with the number of plants I have, you know, how many necessarily bins I'm gonna have to make it like where it's keeping up. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
just kind of just mess around with it. Like if you had to do it like at scale, it'd probably be pretty tough, but it's just fun to recycle your food shit and watch them eat all your food, and you can kind of use that and just throw it on top. And I don't know, it's definitely interesting to watch Mother Nature devour all that stuff, and just kind of you're able to use that and grow plants. So it's pretty fucking tight.
That's the part of the organic side of things that I was really worried about, to be honest with you. I was really embracing the organic side of things, but I was really worried, and I'm still worried about once I kind of tip that corner that I'll be fucking trying to just utilize everything, all my food, my scraps. I could see like a bokashi bin coming in at one point. I know, like I said, once I open up that door, turn that corner, it's gonna be like all in. And I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely lots to do and lots to see, and it's just everybody has their own way of doing it too, so which makes it that much cooler. So I recommend getting one. I had a lot of fun with it.
I guess too, when you turn that corner too, it's like it's not just you that's made that commitment at that point, because now you're trying to get everybody in the house on board. Everything that hits the garbage, I gotta use that.
Right.
I can just see being that guy too. Everything that hits the garbage.
Yeah. I threw a piece of pizza out there the other night. They ate a fucking sausage pizza.
What was the most thing? What thing did you throw out there that you're most impressive? That you're like, no shit, they ate that. They totally ate that thing, man. No time for that.
Yeah, I think it was. I had these old Chinese chicken salads that were just like they were stashed in like my outdoor fridge, and it was just like rancid, like nasty looking. The chicken was in there still, so I just threw it in there and then just covered it with dirt, and like I think it was like 3-4 days. It was like all just spreading out. So they'll eat about anything, man. I don't think there's anything they won't eat. At least I haven't found it yet. So yeah, I threw, just basic bachelor guy food, pizza. I don't throw any bones in there. I try not to throw any meat. Yeah, just like all sorts of stuff. So it's your imagination can, whatever you can think of, I guess.
So, what were the first strains you decided to try to breed with? What strains were the initial strains you started to work with?
The first, I would say, like we had like a Kimbo Kush, a blueberry. I think it was a triple OG, and we had a couple strains going with me and a buddy, and it was just like a small closet thing, and we kind of got our feet wet there, and I think we just made a few seeds here and there. But I would say when I went to that Emerald Cup, I got the Milk and Cookies from Exotic Mike. I got Snow Melt, which is like a blueberry F4 times Sunset Sherbet from Second Generation. Let's see. Notes. I got a Tangelope from DNA, Shoki from Swamp Boys, which is their Lime Kush times Triangle Kush times Skunk. I got a Tangy Cream from Exotic Mike. That was like a freebie giveaway if you bought like a certain amount of packs or something. And then I got the Snow Melt from Second Generation, which was like that blueberry and the Sunset Sherbet. So I split the seeds up half and half with my buddy. And then I took the Snow Melt males and, I made a cross with the Snow Melt and then he made the cross with the milk and cookies. So we had the same seed split up, but he picked his milk and cookie males. I did the snow melt males. So we had like two different breedings, but the same kind of like stock. So we just hit everything that was in there no matter what. And then started to play with that, I guess. That was like my first real like seed chucking or pollen chucking event where I kind of like, okay, saw how it works, made the seeds, kind of like saw how the progeny, or at least saw the parents, and then kind of grew them out from there.
Did you come up with, did anything super dank come out of that first? Anything come out of that you're still working with today? I guess.
Yeah, I would say I haven't really dove back into that line. I kind of just, once I made that batch, I kind of just moved on to another. I went and got some other seeds and then started another breeding project, but I definitely tested everything that came out of there, like at least 10 seeds or I would, for when I usually test, I'll throw like 5 or 6 seeds in one pot and just kind of like veg them for like a week and flip them just to see what's in there and what comes out. But definitely the milk and cookies came out like we ran the F2s on that, and there was like 2 phenos that were really, one was like a real cookie, like cookie dough pheno, and the other one was like a triple OG, and it was like a more of a cushy, I guess. But those came out really dank, and I sent out a lot of testers, and those came back pretty nice. Like people are having good luck with them. I ran some of the snow melt F2s as well, and I grew a bunch of those in a pot. And a couple of them started to herm like week 3. So I just axed those and grew the rest, and the rest grew really nice. But yeah, I would say the Shokies I haven't really tested out too much. That's the one from Swamp Boys. The females that we hit were, one of them was really, really fucking nice. Purple. Like I remember I was like the one my friend grew. I was like, that's the one. Like this is dank as shit. Like I don't know what the fuck we're looking at, but this is like really nice. So yeah, there's definitely some like when I first started, I didn't really take too many notes. I kind of just took pictures and like wrote a few things down on each pheno, and then I would make my selections at the end, like 1 through 3. And then the rest, there was usually a couple more phenos that were just, runty or didn't really, do well. So I just combine all those into one bag. So I have like all 3 of my favorites kind of, and then little notes on each one, and kind of like just stored them away for like another day. So, but I've definitely given out testers. If you go on my page, a lot of other guys are growing them out. So I kind of like I'll test them myself, but I like seeing what other people can do with them and just seeing what other people find. So.
What has been some of your favorite genetics to work with so far?
I went to like Capulator's like release for one of his Mac releases. I think it was like after some festival, I forget what it was, the 710 thing out here. And I just kept hearing everything, oh, Capulator, Mac, whatever. So he ended up doing a drop at his dispensary out here in LA. And I picked up a Mac pack, and then an orange apricot Mac. And I ended up doing a breeding with the orange apricot. I grew them out, and I got like 2 females, and the rest were all males. So I kind of just picked the 2 best males that I thought were like the biggest, strongest, like the biggest pollen sacs, the ones that kind of looked like they were ready to dump. And then I hit a bunch of other seeds that I'd grabbed from Seeds Here Now, and just had like basically just like a 4x8, and just that was like my first kind of breeding indoors. And it's fucking horrible to do indoors. I was like, by the end of it, I was like allergic to everything. I couldn't even go in the room. I had to set up like a flood and drain just to like get the fuck away from the pollen because I was like opening the tent and just like whacking the fucking stems of the male plants, and it was just watching the pollen just go all around. And definitely learned a lot with that one. And it was like, okay, I got to bring this shit outside. So that's when I kind of moved. I would start them inside and then go to the gazebo and just let them go to town in the gazebo, I guess. But yeah, definitely the orange apricot mac produced some like really, really good shit. And for when I put all the other plants or, you know, pop the other seeds, it was like, let's see, orange apricot was, I had an ice queen sundae from blue blood genetics. He's like a local guy here in the valley that's fucking super cool. I had the mint chocolate chip times wedding cake from exotic genetics. That was called bachelor party. I had some ethos genetics in there, the rose purple punch, and I made the F2s of the apricot mac, but the female on that was just like a fucking little runt. So I was kind of bummed, but it ended up working out because I was just going to use the males, but I wish I had some more females for the F2s, but definitely ran those through. And then I tested those, and those all came back like super legit. Like definitely saw a lot of the mac in there. And I don't know if you've grown the orange apricot mac, but it's real like resinous, is like just real sticky, fucking real dank. It doesn't get you super high, but it's got like real flavorful smoke. So that was enjoyable.
So, how do you prefer to grow? Do you tend to just, what is your grow style, both in veg and flower? Do you like scrog? Do you let them just kind of come up?
I just if I'm running it the first time, I don't top it. I'll uh I'll lollipop some of the bottom stuff, but if I'm like first time growing it out, I kind of want to let it just do its thing and observe and let the plant show me what it's gonna do. Um, I like growing outdoors in soil. Like you know, I'll get like build a soil 3.0 or like a decent starting soil for them, and then kind of do a light amendment with compost or worm castings and some top dressing stuff. But I kind of just let them, you know, just feed them real minimal and then just expose them to the elements. And I mean, it gets really hot here. Like lately, we've been having a lot of wind, so fucking everything's just flying around, and you know, so I kind of just let nature take control and just definitely if it's the beans I'm popping, I'll give them their own container, and then just kind of let them go from there. So
How do you pop your seeds?
I've tried everything, man. I've done the paper towel, like you know, the solo cup with water, mineral water, putting azos in there. I just kind of like let them sit in a cup, let them, you know, sink, and then sometimes I'll go from there to like a paper towel just to kind of like mix it up, and then I just try to get them in the soil as fast as possible. Really, like I've started them in soil, I've had good results. I have some older seed stock that I got. It's like from like 2009, I think 2010, and I was having a lot of trouble with that. And I was trying to like put like corn or like other seeds in water before, so it would, like start the process, get the enzymes, or you know, get the seeds like germinated in there, and then I would take those seeds out and then put the cannabis seeds in, and then just kind of let that solution. And I don't know if that worked or not, but they did pop. But I mean, the seeds are so old sometimes that you just going to have bad germ rates. So I feel like just doing a cup of water, as long as it's clean water, and putting it in a dark cupboard for 2 days, you'll be fine.
My secondary method for sure. It's a cup method.
Yeah.
I've tried about everything myself, and I've never really been a big fan of like say the paper towel method.
Yeah, if you leave them in the paper towel too long, they just get stuck in there, and it's kind of like a pain in the ass.
My first go-to method is I like to take the root riot cubes. I don't even use the trays. I kind of just flip them upside down so they're more like a pyramid. Poke a fucking hole in there, drop the seed in there. Usually have pretty good luck with that. But if I'm not doing that, then I prefer the glass of water, like you're saying there.
Yeah,
Just
for sure.
See if you get anything to pop versus wasting your time, putting that fucking in dirt. Wasting your time.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. Like, I try to at least start them. I've tried popping, like, if they're like real nice seeds and stuff, I won't pop them outside. But like I said, I've had just bad luck or shit falls over. I have like a 10-week-old puppy running around here, so he's fucking jumping on everything. So I just try to pop them inside first, and then kind of escort them outside or harden them off at least, and then bring them out. So
And I wish I could grow out there in the sun. So, which you obviously said you preferred the outdoors there. How long was that your first method? Was the outdoor method?
no, I mean, I started indoors for sure, just from a kick drum to a closet to a tent, kind of just evolved slowly and took breaks here and there. And then just kind of got my tent set up like a 4x8 basic tent, and then had a 1,000 watt in there with a fan kind of ducting out, just kind of like real basic. So kind of started from there. And then I would help out at friend spots. So I had exposure to, like, just like basic garage setup type stuff. So would help out with that. And then just kind of like mainly just doing a tent to a gazebo. I'm breeding like probably I can do like 2 breedings a year pretty much if I try. But for a while there, I was going a little bit crazy trying to like do a bunch of stuff. And you just realize that it's better just slow down and focus on one thing rather than trying to like do a symphony of fucking crosses at one time. It's crazy.
How many crosses have you made?
Fuck, I wouldn't even count the first few I did. It was like just like I probably made about 20 seeds on each of those. But yeah, I would say the milk and cookies, the snow melt, the orange apricot, and then there was like one season I would pop like a couple packs of seeds, and then I would go to the dispensary and grab like all the clones that they had, like Shapeshifter, Stardog, um, all the couple OGs, Oregon Lemons, like a bunch of different. There's this place out here called Green Dragon that has like usually like a pretty well versed strain list. So I'd grab those clones, veg them for like a week, and then I would just hit everything. So I did that a few times, and then I realized like that's kind of like not what I'm going for. I'm just practice making seeds basically, and like what to do, and just organize, just the whole organization thing and keeping notes and like tracking everything. That's like a job in its fucking self to remember everything. So but I would say, yeah, I would definitely say the milk and cookies, the snow melt, the orange apricot, and then I did a couple of crosses, smaller stuff with like the Wonka bars from Exotic Mike, which was the GMO cross to the mint chocolate chip, and had a few things with that. And then I came across a buddy, like an old medical grower from out here, from like the early 2000s. He sent me some of his old seed stock of like old Skywalker, old Blue Velvet, and what was the Chem 91. And I guess before he took off, I guess he went to go to Colorado or something, and he crossed everything to God's Gift, or used a God's Gift mail and crossed like his cuts with that. And he sent me that probably 2-3 years ago. So I just been kind of digging through that, just doing open pollinations, kind of like singling out different females, and just kind of like trying to, trying to find the best females with the best males, just to preserve the seed stock, because the germination rates were so low, and it was like these old strains I don't really have familiar. I'm not familiar with any of them, so I kind of had to go back on the forums and look at these strains, or just look up pictures of what they're supposed to look like, so I can kind of like say, okay, this one's more the Skywalker OG, this one's more of a God's gift, and kind of like put them in order, I guess. But I kind of just been, this last run is an open pollination, so I'm just letting everything go, and I still have some more seeds left of the original stock, but I think I'm gonna save that and just kind of go from there. So I'm just kind of like digging around whatever I come across here and there, but just trying to preserve this latest batch so it doesn't really go bad all the way, I guess.
Do you keep studs?
Not really. I kind of just let them do their things, and just I'd collect pollen and froze it. Tried that, had mixed results, but I just, once the male's there and it's gone, it's kind of, I just put it to pasture, kind of let it go. I kind of like, I don't think I'm at a point where I can really keep a stud around, or it would just be more of a hassle, fucking, especially if you have to keep it indoors, and it's just like a lot of shit can go wrong when you got a male inside all the time.
So when you are looking for a male, are you using multiple males for breeding, or you selecting? I mean,
Yeah,
just the one.
I think most of my breedings I'd use two males. There was one Mac cross I did where I had one really killer male, and the other ones were just trash, so I just kept this one. But I usually prefer to keep more of an open style of breeding, I guess, or seed making, I should say. Uh, but yeah, I usually use two males. I like the biggest, the baddest dude in the room. Like if you grow, like I kind of noticed that when you grow seeds all together, and then you let the females and the males kind of like are next to each other, that the plants express themselves differently, rather than just having like a room full of females and then you bring a male in, which I've done too. But it's like, you can tell, I don't know, I see a difference when you let them go side by side, and then it's like grow up together, and then you turn them to flower together, and then you can really see like um who the biggest, baddest man, the male is. And then once the males start to show themselves, kind of cull them from there, and then like make my selection. So, um, every breeding's different, every run is different, but kind of just look for, the obvious, like stem rub, see how it smells, how it looks. What am I looking for in the parents to pass through? So it's kind of like a more of an open style, I guess, of seed making.
Out of everything you made so far, which one would you say be that one? Which one are you most proud of so far? I guess is.
Let me see. There's I think some of the Mac crosses, it sounds cliche, but fucking, that Mac male I had for the original Mac, it just, everything it hit, just, it had the Mac structure, and then the frost that it has. But there was a Ice Queen Sunday from Blue Bud that I hit with the Mac, and I just called it Mac Queen. But it was really nice. It was like yeah, it just had like really good structure. The flavor had like the really tall like main cola, and then had like nice side branching on it. So it seemed like just like a real nice plant. I grew some of them, and I really enjoyed the smoke. That one was nice. And then I would say the orange apricot times the bachelor party, which was the mint chocolate chip times wedding cake from Exotic. And that one had a really nice flavor to it, and just was easy to grow. Didn't, just gave it real basic soil and like barely fed it, and it just produced like, it didn't yield a lot. It was just like, it just looked really nice for what I did, and I enjoyed it. So yeah, I like those two crosses. A lot of the stuff I enjoy, but it's yeah, it's definitely, once you start growing out your crosses, you kind of see what you're working with, and you can kind of move on from there, and like what you like, just because you like the way it looks and the way it grew, and then you smoke the thing afterwards, and it's like, I don't think that's really worth growing that out, So it's like, it's always changing here and there, but I would say those two are pretty cool crosses.
Yeah, it's always hard to put things together and think, this is gonna be the bomb. Has there ever been some like wah wah wah?
Oh yeah.
You thought they were gonna be the shit, and now you go
Yep.
try like, oh, that's
Definitely freaking. I
what would you
think,
say your worst herb profile has been? Just for shits and giggles, because there's a wide variety. Hell, we were talking Mr. Trees last night. He was excited about like a dead body turd, and it's like that don't even sound good. But it's a lot of times we know, like, the cat piss turd doesn't
right.
sound good, but is it super strong? Yeah. So I don't know what's been the worst one so far that you've come across.
I think I don't know if I most of the strains I grew were kind of just like the, now that I think about it, kind of like the hypey, like fruity, kind of grew a lot of that kind of stuff in the beginning. But I grew a Willie G's Lebanese. It was a CBD strain. Um, I grew that out. I made some F2s, and then the females I grew had like a dill pickle, like black pepper scent to it. It was kind of like definitely interesting and weird, but it was a 20-to-1 CBD. I got it from like Seeds Here Now, and I grew those out. So that's kind of like, and then I used that male. I crossed it to a few other CBD strains I made, and it definitely passed over the dill pickle. So it was like I think a cherry wine, or and then a Doctor Who, I think from Homegrown Natural Wonders. It's like a Harley Who, I think, actually. It's like a CBD times one of his other crosses, and grew some of those out, and it definitely has like that dill pickle, peppery, kind of earthy scent, but it mixed well with the cherry, the cherry wine or whatever it was. So it kind of like a sweet pickle. It sweetened it up a little bit. So yeah, I would say that's probably like the weirdest terps I've come across.
Yeah, dill pickle's definitely a kind of a weird one. I don't know how it handled.
It was actually quite, after you kind of like smell it a little bit, it was enjoyable. I don't know about everyday strain, but
In fact, I know I can be truthful here. I know I probably would, at least I've had it and not grown that way, but I sure have sure as fuck have pickled some bugs.
for sure, yeah,
So
I can see that.
by by what I'm trying to say there is, back when I was mid grower, when the glass tech started coming in, and everybody was like, "Oh yeah, glass jars, you fucking cure with glass jar."
Mm,
Again, I can be a little bit of a cheap fucker. Not afraid to admit that. So when the glass jars things came into play, I started searching for fucking sourcing glass jars from wherever I could find glass jars. And, I bought just pickle an OG Kush. that was a really good. It was well done, but never realized that that lid actually held that pickle terp smell so bad. You know, I never thought about, you know, trying to find another lid. Whatever. I washed the shit out of that fucking lid, fucking stuffed it full of fucking bud, opened it back up, and it was straight pickle. Straight
Oh
pickles.
wow, that's
It
bad.
wasn't a bad cure like, you know, hay. It was everything that was stuck in that lid and just infused in the bud.
Just
And it was it was not good.
the
It
heavy
was
dill
not good.
terps.
Yeah,
Awesome. Yeah.
yeah.
Learn the hard way there, huh?
Hopefully better grown in instead of infused back infused into it. But
Right. Well, yeah, that's crazy. I
lessons
mean,
learned.
when I my buddy used to work at like one of the dispensaries, and he would say that they would have different kinds of weed. Like the guy would come in and you know, a guy come in with a backpack, just okay, whatever, like grab some shit, and then if it was the same stuff, they would spray it with like a mint or a cherry, and it would be like, oh, it'd be Diamond OG, but the cherry terps, and it's like, you know, starting to hang around there, you start to realize that like, what the fuck's going on here? Like, if it smells too crazy to be true, it probably is, kind of thing, or if it's like a one-off type thing, like I'm cherry this. It's like, this was like back 2000, 12 or 13. So definitely got to be careful. I don't think
What is
anybody's
your
doing
favorite
pickle
terp?
spray. My
No,
favorite terp?
God,
Let's see. I don't know. I'm really liking these the stuff that I'm growing right now, the God's Gift Skywalker. It's definitely got the OG Kush, like earthy, skunky type phenos that are popping up, and just been growing that lately the last few rounds. So kind of just working with those terps and just like seeing what I like, and definitely trying to isolate that. At first I was trying to isolate the Skywalker and like find that leaf structure and like the internodal spacing that's like staggered, and definitely has like a little bit of leaf curl from what I've seen. I went back on like the 420 magazine forums, and if you type in OG or Skywalker OG and you go back to like the last page, which is like 124 or something, and then you start to like go through the threads backwards, and then you'll start to see like when it was popping up in the shops in LA in like 2008 or 9, I think, or maybe 2005, I forget. But you can kind of go through, and then they were releasing the clones out of like a dispensary on like in Santa Monica and West Hollywood, and you can go through and see people start to grow it. So I kind of went back on the forums, tried to do my homework and see what like the actual Skywalker looked like. But I found a couple females. I know which ones they are, but this last one, I just kind of left it like open pollination, just let it do its thing. And, just, it'll be in there. I just have to look hard enough, kind of thing. But the F2s, I know it'll open up, and I can really kind of dabble in what I'm looking for. I don't even know what I'm looking for. I'm just kind of like looking to find the best plants in the batch. So kind of start off with a goal sometimes, and then you realize like, I'm just focusing on this one thing. I need to look at the whole population and just kind of break it down and see what direction to go. Because I mean, I've made so many seeds, I can't go through them all. It's kind of just, you just figure out which ones you want to work and what you like, and then go from there. And then other than that, I've just been giving away seeds fucking for the last like 3-4 years. Kind of just, I don't think I've ever sold a seed, so I kind of just give this shit away. Or they got this thing out here called Tomato Mania. It's like a vegetable thing where you go at the start, grab your starts for the veggies. I would go there and with a couple buddies and put seeds in all the tomatoes. And so I've been giving them out that way too. So just having fun with it.
I appreciate the fact that you're just giving away some seeds, man. More
Yeah,
people
man.
that we can get started on this adventure, the better off we'll be in the long run. And the more lives that will enrich along the way, because this plant, it has definitely has its capabilities as a medicine. But man, it sure can clean up a person as well. Once you start to cultivate cannabis, it really starts to. We know it's a bioaccumulator, but it seems to be work that way in us as well. Kind of starts to suck out the bad things in life that we shouldn't be doing or shouldn't be focusing on, and kind of redirects things into a different path. Garden time can be very zen, that's for sure. Once it takes a very different turn too once you start to get down that organics rabbit hole. That's when the spirituality and the hippy dippy side of things kind of come into play. Is when you crack that door. It definitely takes you down a new path.
No, I couldn't agree with you more, man. It's started out growing, popping seeds, and then like that next year I was like doing a vegetable garden. Then I got into like the worm bins and kind of just tumbled down the road of, with all these new videos and shows like yours, there's so much content and so many ways to learn now. It's, I didn't think I would be into gardening and shit. I was into tattoos and riding a motorcycle, fucking going around being a fucking jackass, I guess, So, but then I kind of slowed down and realized like I kind of saw what I was smoking and where it was coming from. Especially in the medical days, it was fucking the Wild West. They would spray whatever they wanted on it, and I kind of saw that firsthand. So it kind of like made me realize like I want to take this control, and for me, like control what I'm putting into my body, control how I grow it, what I grow it with. Then I started growing vegetables, and that's fucking hard as shit. Growing veggies is probably a lot harder than cannabis, in my opinion, but definitely tried that out. Made a lot of scraps for the worm bin for sure, but it was fun, and still doing it. So definitely agree with what you said.
I always think it's funny. I was joking about this the other night too. That we started growing cannabis for whatever reason, medical, whatever. Then we opened that organic store. Then we realized that we can I could use this superpower for other things.
Right.
I can grow veggies. I can, I'm going to take this right around the corner to other good shit. Yeah, I think it's funny that it actually took cannabis to, kind of bring you around, a lot of us are around to using it for compost, growing our own vegetables, realizing how bad we're treating ourselves, basically. It's what
Yeah.
organics does.
It really is a lesson in fucking consumption, just what we're putting in our mouths, what we're consuming with our eyes, even, and kind of just slows down, and you can appreciate it more, at least. And the plant teaches you things like every day, just what you're doing to it, how, what you're feeding it. You kind of can really see, like, put yourself in the pot and then pretend you're feeding yourself, and what kind of lights and environment you're in. It really produces an outcome of whatever it is you're doing. So yeah, I agree with that for sure.
So you want to tell me a little bit about how do you dry your cannabis? What's your process on drying? Everybody's got a different process. I always like to
Yeah.
hear everybody's.
Most of the shit that I have has seeds in it, so I let it go way too long, and then it's like once you're growing for seed, you kind of like let the thing die on the vine almost, and then I chop it down and then I let it dry for. I've harvested after the seeds after like 3 or 4 days, just so that when you're breaking up the seeds, it's not all dusty and you don't have to wear a mask and stuff. But most of the time I'm drying, I let it just hang dry on a hanger, put it in the closet or the tent, and just try to keep the humidity, decent, 50, 60, temperature low, dark. And then, just basically when the stem snaps, yeah, just that's when it's good to go. But yeah, if you're going for seeds, it's different. If you're just, going for smoke, then yeah, definitely like a 60, 60, 10, 12 day, depending on what the humidity is, and kind of take samples off here and there, and you can kind of figure out when you want to jar it or tote it up. But yeah, that's just real basic, I would say. Just keep it simple.
So what would you say that is the averaging flowering time for most of your strains?
Most of them I'd say are like 8 or 9 weeks. Just real basic. Like some of the milk and cookies is like a 50 day. It's actually pretty much a lot shorter. And then those males that we use kind of like shorten the flowering time, I think, on a lot of those strains. So it's I have a few strains, a sativa strain, it's from AK Bean Brains. It was a Black Domina times a Loang Pro Bang. It's like a Vietnamese strain. It's like a 22 weeker. So I tried to grow that outside. I took some clones and made some seeds with a Skywalker male, but yeah, that one it didn't end up finishing. The caterpillars got it, and after that, it was just a slow demise, and wasn't able to finish that one. But yeah, I would say most of them were
22 weeker.
I think something like
22 weeker.
Something like that. He told me, I was like, give me your longest flowering sativas, and I placed an order on his email, and I ended up getting those. He also has those old books from the Seed Bank of Holland days and stuff. So I bought a couple of those old books with the pictures and the catalogs, the seed catalogs. But yeah, I've tried to grow some stuff here and there. So
holy cow, man! I couldn't imagine even, and that would throw my flowering schedule way off. Oh man, 22 weeks.
I thought I could get away with
patience
it
for that.
Yeah, I threw a couple clones out there. They were probably like 6 inches, and I just put them straight into the soil, and it was like the end or the beginning of like winter. So the California winters, we barely got any rain. We get some wind, but I took some pictures on my Instagram. They're kind of floating around, but the caterpillars got them or something. The botrytis starts, and you see the little black caliper shit or whatever, and then just from there it just mushrooms out and fucks up your whole crop. So I tried.
I find that the more psychedelic strains are right there, though. The way the 10, 20, God, I can't even think about 22 weeks. You think that's where the psychedelic cannabis lies, is in that realm.
I think there is definitely a different high from the hazes and the moonshine haze I grew. That was really nice. And trying to think of the other ones, like a Tangelo or Chocolope and Tangy cross I grew. That was pretty nice. But yeah, there's definitely something there, and I think a lot more. They're just a pain in the ass to grow, so it's tough. I wanted to order some of the Snow High seeds because he's got a lot of crazy looking classic sativas type gear, but I just haven't got around to it. And it's just tough, especially the stretch. The stretch is what kills you in a tent. You can't. I remember AK Bean Brains told me to wait till it hits the third note and then flip. And then I was like, I don't want to do that. Like I topped it and kind of did something to it. I tried to train it, and it took over the whole tent and was flopping around, and it was just a nightmare to deal with. So listen to your breeder and what they tell you, because they're probably correct.
And I've had some ethos genetics like that, man, that were just seemed almost untamable in a tent.
Wow. Which ones?
The insane in the membrane, for one.
Oh,
Was
nice.
the
I grew
most
that out.
memorable. Was it like uncontrollable for you too? Because man, in my tents I could flip that thing at 6 inches and it would be every bit of 7 feet.
Right. Yeah, it did.
Could
It did stretch like crazy, and it was pretty dank. I hit that with like a Mac male that I had, and I think I had like 5 females. I think it was feminized, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So, and then 2 of them ended up herming, just because I think they were in like there was 2 of them in like one pot. I think they're root bound, and they started to throw a little pollen, so I just cut those out real quick, and I still have 3 of them that went. So I could definitely. Do you still have that strain going on?
Oh no. Oh no, no. I got fed up with that. The last time I ran it, I actually kind of tamed it a little bit.
Figured it
I
out.
ran it through ran it through a scrog and kind of took it from 24 hours of light and then right to a flip, which was a heavy strip, heavy defoliation, so it kind of limited a lot of what stretch and everything it had.
Right.
And it kind of helped me out a lot. But that was the last run. I had too many other times where, and I've run HPS, I got LED tents, and every time
Right.
that thing would just straight up shoot to the top and it'd be bent over a foot with a big old kind of fluffy bud that was right above this light twice, just kind of like hanging right up there. It's like, what the hell are you gonna do with that? Nothing.
Right.
That shit.
Stick it in
That
the
should be my
corner.
best bud. That should be my best bud, and I'm making, that's my bubble hash and shit out of that
Right.
particular strain.
Did you like the smoke on it?
It was decent. It was decent. I preferred at the same time I dropped the IOGOGO, which I really enjoyed. That one I did keep for quite some time. I've run too much shit, man. It's hard, it's got to be absolute fire for me to even think about keeping it
Right.
for any length of time. I run things 2, 3 times minimum. And then there's been a few strains I've kept around for a good number of years. And I'll pass them out to friends. But, I'm on the hunt. I'm on the
Yeah.
hunt just like everybody else is.
Oh yeah, me
And
too.
for me, I, I really hate the hype. I've always been that way. Soon as everybody starts, kind of talking about it, I'm like, I don't want to play with it anymore. I
Right.
don't want to play with it anymore. I don't know, I'm silly like that. But, so yeah, things are ever changing around here. But,
Yeah, same here, dude. I'd rather pop more seeds and see what else is behind the next door than to kind of like go around the carousel with the clone carousel and just fucking the same shit over and over. And I mean, if you're doing production and you're flipping it, that's one thing. But if you're having fun and just searching for terps and kind of freaking I like trying other people's seeds that aren't like big breeders, or I've had good luck with other people that are just passionate about it, and um just like in the community and stuff. So like I like trading and trying other people's gear. If you don't want to buy the $400 pack, then you can usually find somebody that has a cross in it or something. So it's always fun to try new things, keep the variety going.
sure, sure, love the variety. I've been testing, that's another thing too. I've been a seed tester for a very long time. So keeping things, things come and go around here so fast. I don't even.
Yeah.
I've got probably 12 strains right now in testing, as it
Wow.
is. So
That's a lot for sure. How many seeds for each strain?
10
Rough.
per strain.
Oh, nice. So like a whole pack. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's hard to like, I've been giving the seeds away. I've like put up posts for like testers and people reach out, but you send the gear and it's like, you hope that they pop them relatively soon or whenever you get them. But a lot of these guys just kind of want the free shit and just hold on to it, or they'll flip it right away. So I kind of have like 3 or 4 good testers that I've found. And, if you test somebody's gear and you run it right and they take the pictures, most of the people that I've seen, you get heavily rewarded. I'll give you whatever you want. If you take good pictures and you grow my gear out and you're like honest about it, like whether it's fucking herms out or just fucking bunk or, just an honest response. And, that's all we're looking for. I'm not trying to like have you be my hype man. I want like an honest review. Like not like Yelp where it's like, I don't know, 5 stars. I don't need a whole fucking paragraph of how you're gonna fucking blow this breeder and or whatever the fucking case may be, but just the honest and pictures and feedback and kind of keep it simple.
Do nobody any favors by just like you say, kind of kissing that ass. Oh, it's all good. Well, if it's
Right.
not all good and it gets thrown out there, then you're kind of, you're risking. That's quality control. You're risking the name. You know what I
Right.
mean? Be honest about it. If it ain't that good, don't risk the
Yeah.
name. Be honest. But yeah, I figured that shit out a long time ago, brother.
Yeah.
About seriously about the be good, the good pictures and be honest, all that shit, and you get rewarded. I tested for. I've tested for ocean grown, TGA for numbers of years. Subcool is a good friend of mine. Currently testing for Empire Breeding Co. Med Grower one. Shit, Maui Genetics, quite a few people.
Nice.
But it's the thing. I've always known if you do what they ask, you know what I mean, and you'd be ahead of the curve. Like I said earlier, once everybody else is talking about it, I'm already done with it. That's what
Right.
I've loved about the tester part of things. I've already ran it and everybody started talking about it. I'm like, oh, I'm already trying to work on tomorrow's.
Right. No, hell yeah. It's true. It's like you're definitely on the front lines and you definitely hear the noise before the wave comes kind of thing. And you kind of know what to expect or at least if you're growing the seeds out and then you can see like, oh, here comes the breeder cut around. Let's see what this is all about. If you've already grown the seeds out, you kind of can get a lay of the land before you run that clone, I guess. But yeah, for sure. I always take care of my guys and if they need anything or want anything extra, like they love a certain thing, just I'll hook them up. Like I really don't give a shit. I got way too many seeds laying around to even really care about. So kind of went through a phase there, just making as much shit as I could, and then now I'm starting to like, all right, I got to figure out a real direction here. I kind of just locked down a bunch of shit. So um yeah, just kind of like where I'm at, I guess.
It's always awesome to have those strains. So to pass them out, I'm glad to hear that you're giving out a lot of strains and
Oh
helping
yeah,
people out that way.
that's like the best part of this whole journey of just making seeds is just giving them away. uh I was like into like making my own LEDs for a while, with like when Grow Mouse was pretty big a few years back, running cobs and like chip on boards, or the when the quantum boards first started coming out. And I would just look under like Grow LED hashtag So if you were running a custom like LED in a grow tent, I would just hit you up and be like, all right, what are you doing? Okay, I'm gonna send you some seeds. And we just, I kind of just started reaching out that way and finding other guys in tents or people in tents that were growing, and kind of just like started sending everything out that way. And then the last couple times I went to that Masonic free seed day here in LA, and I sent him a bunch of seeds to hand out to whoever. And then I showed up there and just kind of went to the back of the line and just had like a whole satchel full of seeds. And I started from the back of the line, just handing out stickers and seeds, and kind of tried to make sure everyone got a little something that day. And that was pretty efficient way of giving out seeds, because trying to like find somebody, mail them, and like doing that whole thing, packaging it up. I mean, I'm still doing it, but it's just kind of a more pain in the ass. So I like going to like these. I'm going to go to Emerald Cup this year and just go around and try to hand out as many seeds as I can.
It's awesome. You know, there are collectors. I'm a collector. I'm not even gonna lie. I do have tons and tons of genetics, but I hope to actually get through them all at some point. I got four nugs who just sent me some gear. He's like, you popped those BTYOG F1s yet? And I do plan on popping them. Very, actually, just told him I'm plan on popping the pine before the OG. But man, I have every intentions on every seed in them two cases right there. I hope to grow someday. You know what I mean? And I'm throwing them down just as fast as I can go through them. I think everybody can vouch for that.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. You gotta, if you buy it, you gotta pop it. Like, I try not to buy anything if I'm not gonna pop it like that year, but sometimes you see something you can't let go, you just get that itch, or you want to, it somewhere it has a soft spot in your heart for that pack. You're kind of like, all right, it's my guilty pleasure kind of thing. But yeah, definitely. And especially when you're making more seeds, it's just like kind of just start snowballing and multiplying. It's like you can't run all this stuff. So it was getting, the seed stock that I had was like 3-4 years old, and I was like, I gotta do something with this. Like, it's just sitting in a tote. And I was like, all right, that's when I started just trying to give this shit away as fast as I could, because the more I give, the more I feel like it just feels good, I guess. Just putting that out there in the universe, just fucking lacing everybody up. I remember there was a waitress at one of the restaurants out here. Her dad, I kind of knew she was, but her dad was like an old vet. And I remember I was, talking about the seeds or whatever she smokes, and, we're just chopping it up. And I ended up giving her a bunch of these orange apricot crosses. And her dad had like a motorcycle accident. And she was telling me that just growing the seeds and getting him out of the house and taking care of the plants, like, healed him just as much as the cannabis when he was smoking. So just kind of hearing stories like that and hearing people kind of like go through their own journey with cannabis and growing it, it kind of just makes it a little bit more fulfilling of a life. Just kind of like growing it and sharing it kind of thing.
100% true. 100% true. I say that about at least once a week. I echo that very same sentiment that the growing aspect is just as powerful as medicine as the cannabis itself. I ultimately think, well, we all know that when we hang out in the garden, it tends to be an anti-anxiety moment. You kind of tend to lose yourself. Even if you walked in there, into that room, that space, with a bit of anxiety, a little bit of chances are within seconds of staring at those ladies and just looking over the canopy and kind of letting your mind, it melts all that shit right away. And
Yeah, it
even
really
more
does.
so that if you're using it kind of as a medicine, there is nothing better than that feel. Because more than likely, if you're using it as a medicine, then you're having a hard time anyway. So when you're having a hard time, it's always sucks to say I can't in any kind of way. Any kind of way. So if you can turn that I can into an I can, I am, moreover, I am providing for myself. You know what I mean? That I am is
Right.
very strong statement.
For
So
sure. I totally agree with that. And you're saving money. You love to let save money, right, Eagle? Fuck paying those
yeah,
dispensaries, dude. The dispensaries are fucking robbery nowadays. For what, salt grown
yeah,
mids, fucking overpriced mids and packaging. I'd rather grow my own
definitely,
swag and fucking sleep on it.
most definitely. Any
Yeah,
day.
yeah, for sure.
I haven't even been in one of the places in quite some time. But I'm traveling. Sometimes you don't pack enough for the travels. You have to
Right.
hop in.
Yeah, how is it out there?
I always leave with this statement of like, you know, I grow this, right?
All right, when the bud tender is trying to tell you what strain it is, and oh, what's the indica hybrid, sativa hybrid? It's all just like, come on, you don't have to use the
Not
spiel on me at least.
not so much all of that, but it's like the price. It's just
Oh yeah,
price per gram and what they're getting for what they think is well top quality, which are you nailed it right. It's more closer to mids.
right,
You're like, man, I, you know, I know what good cannabis is. This isn't what you're trying to get.
right, and yeah, I think it definitely takes a while to kind of see that, I guess. I mean, you really don't know what you got until you start growing your own, and then you can kind of compare, like, okay, this is what I can do. What's this look like? And then you start kind of seeing how, how the structure of the bud, if it's fucking rock hard, if it's got a bunch of PGRs in it, or if it's, you start to see like the soil when you start growing, at least for me, when I started growing in soil, I noticed the structure wasn't as like rock hard and like artificial. It would fucking bounce the bud off the table kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, just because it looks the best and it's the most purple doesn't mean I want to smoke it or it's not what I like. It's like I think everybody kind of gets caught up in the looks and the percentage of what's on the what's on the label rather than the effects and the taste or whatever you're into, I guess. But yeah, definitely growing your own kind of like gives you more awareness and at least for me, kind of like opened my eyes like, okay, I just want to do this and don't have to like, I mean, I'll still go to a dispensary once in a while. Like, I think I grabbed some Jack Herrera live rosin. I'll grab some dabs here and there. Like, I went to the Secret Sesh LA. It was like a kind of like a private event, and they had like local dispensaries there with like a laser art show and kind of like a live music DJ. I grabbed this like Papa Select extract, and they kind of like, at least on here, it kind of tells you the farm that it came from and when it was made and all that kind of stuff. So it was kind of cool to see who the grower was on a label for once, rather than just kind of not knowing shit when you walk in there. It's just what they tell you.
That's where I tend to pick up my. That's where I go. That's what I go for, and that's where I go too. That's kind of coincidental because I'm not making rosin. I make my own bubble. I love my bubble. I make a lot of bubble. It's time for bubble, by the way. It's time for bubble. But I enjoy the extracts, the dabbables. Occasionally, I'm not making that shit. But I don't want to go to the provisioning center. I mean, they want 50, $60 for a gram of that shit when you can go to the secret sessions. We have them here too in Michigan. Sounds
Yeah.
like the same type of deal. I love it, man. And I get to support people like myself, other caregivers that are putting out a quality product. Why do I want to go to the provisioning center and put some money in the guy's pocket that's trying to take away my growth? Basically,
Yeah.
that's how it's working right now. All
Yeah,
the
I heard
rec
about
guys and the
that.
big guys are like, yeah, fuck them
They're trying to fuck the
caregivers and
caregivers,
shit.
huh? Yeah, that
I ain't
sounds about
giving that
normal
guy my
operating
money.
procedure. So when's the vote for
So
that supposed to take effect?
I don't know. I'm having the Michigan caregivers on uh, next week to kind of give us a rundown on what's going on with
Wow,
all that. But man, yeah, it's
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 pretty sad, man.
they're really trying to. Yeah, it is, man. They're
Sucks.
trying to make it to where we're going down to one patient. So we're able to have 5+ ourselves right now. And they want us to get rid of 4 and only be able to care for 1, which is pretty unfair. I mean, who do you choose? Is basically
Right.
the argument here. And then, how do you tell, that's just 4 people for me times how many caregivers that are out there, that's a lot of patients that are now going without meds, which I think
Right.
is unfair because all my patients I give free meds to. I mean, how do you how the fuck is that fair? You
Can't
can't
replace
your
that. Yeah.
caregiver can't take care of you. Your
Yeah.
caregiver can't take care of you now. Not only that, you don't have a caregiver anymore, and you have to pay 100% for
Right.
your meds retail. That's
Yeah.
unfair as hell,
No,
you
that's
know?
not cool, man. Yeah, that's pretty freaking rough, especially if it's somebody that can't financially or physically do take care of themselves. You're basically forcing them to go to the dispensary and buy the fucking their shit. So it's total power move. Like it sucks, but hopefully you guys can get together and fucking vote that shit out.
I hope so, man. Because as we talked about, man, as you throw in that again, thank you for giving out the free seeds, getting people going, my friend.
Yeah,
Because
if
the more people
anybody
that
on
we get
the
started,
yeah, if
it's
anybody in
nothing
the
but
chat wants anything,
enriching.
hit me up.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, for my bad. I was gonna say if anybody on the chat or in the Eagle Gardens universe wants anything, and if you're down to grow them out and take pictures, just let me know. If I can send whatever you guys need. I'd love to send you something too, Eagle. For it's an honor and a privilege to be on the show. Honestly, I really like what you're doing here. It's a super cool way that you're doing this, and I don't know, I kind of stumbled across you from another podcast. And then once landed here, kind of, I was like, oh, this is like something really cool here. Like new people, most nights, and kind of like having that chat afterwards. It's pretty cool. I enjoy it.
Appreciate that, man. It's just trying to get more and more people growing and, introduce more and more people together. That's one thing that I've always appreciated is the community is so enriched, so many different walks of life and everything. This is the one thread that binds everybody together. And as we kind of talked about, cannabis has done, as far as growing it, has done nothing but enrich my life. Cannabis has been a big part of my life from very young, very young. But it wasn't until, to be very honest about it, even to the point in my life where there was times in my life where it was yes, absolutely put a few friends together and get that free bag. Okay.
Yeah.
And then it most definitely escalated to where it was trying to make a living off it. And then that most certainly died off a couple of times. Definitely took an ending when I brought some children into this world. I realized I couldn't do that and try to raise a family and all that good shit. But the thing this is no shit. Every time that I tried to make an unhonest dollar off of cannabis like that, basically, as soon as the adventure stopped, everything disappeared.
Really?
That's no lie. The clothes, the cars, anything that was associated with the cannabis money, just miraculously, somehow or another, I lost or it vanished just as quick as the adventure came.
Right. No,
Like
yeah.
it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't earned, basically. But it wasn't until I started actually growing cannabis that I actually really started growing and enriching my life. And it's the same thing with everybody else. I mean, it again, it's the bio remediator that I talked about. It sucks that bad shit out of you. It coaches you on to want to learn things more and more, how to grow the plant, uh, soil techniques,
Right.
microbes, fungus, spirituality along the sides of. Once you hit that organic side, you start to develop a spirituality. I think that starts as soon as the seed sprouts, to be honest with you. But I don't think you necessarily put two together until you hit the organics. But I've seen cannabis, everybody that has started to grow the plant, it has done nothing but enrich their lives. It's made them, like I said, reach out, want to do better things, learn
Right.
more things, be better person, reach out, do better things. You know, I don't see the wrong in that. You know, like you said, from growing cannabis to learning about organics to growing your own food, you know,
Yeah, definitely
yeah,
takes you on a ride for sure. It's been fun, and it's definitely kind of, you don't know where you're going to start out once you first start, but it could lead you so many different ways. And yeah, for sure, it's definitely been a blessing to be a part of the plant's life and fucking share it with other people.
yeah. And even more so, I seen the power of cannabis when I started to grow, seeing the power of the medicine. Because by that point, when the awakening of the medical side of cannabis came into fruition in my life, I had lost a good portion of family and friends to pharmaceutical drugs. So that's part of the fight now for me, anyways. As
Right.
many people as we can get off of that shit, get growing. Like I said, man, it's a hell of a medicine, but it's a twofold medicine once you start growing. So
For
I'm a
sure.
huge advocate for cannabis for many, many reasons.
Definitely. Got to get those
Or
flush those pills down the toilet. They're not worth it. Shit's fucking gross.
so, man, how do you hopefully you take donations or something, on the side for the seeds. I mean, that can get costly as shit. It's just shipping.
Yeah,
Is there a way you
mm,
compensate somehow?
I think somebody reached out from your show and was in Australia or something. And I sent him seeds, and then I was like, oh, okay, you can just, I didn't know how much it was going to cost. It was like 20 something bucks. And so I think he sent me like 20 bucks. But I mean, I don't, I think maybe one other time this guy from the used hydro shop was sending seeds to like South Africa. So I gave him like all of my first crosses. I just gave him a bunch of shit. And I think he hooked me up with some gear or something at the shop. So kind of like traded there, but I I don't think I've made anybody pay, or I usually ship everything out for free. So I don't know. I've kind of just kept it that way. And then more recently, I've been trying to go to events and just hand them out because it does get costly. And I'm like, I'm just kind of, the post office guy looks at me. He's like, what's going on today? Like, more shit. I tell him I'm sending out tattoo shit. So he just doesn't even ask questions. It's okay. Fucking here you go, buddy.
Yeah, I have that weird relationship with my postman too.
Yeah, it's awkward. Because you're always fucking
Really?
blitzed. You walk in there high as fuck and you know you stink. And you're just, I mean, now it's a little bit easier. You can keep a mask on and some sunglasses. So you're kind of just incognito. But definitely before he knew what was going on, he just kind of smiles and like, go ahead, take a look inside. There's nothing in there.
I think I've been on their radar for a quick minute.
Yeah.
Packages I've gotten. I don't know how many phone calls I've gotten from our Gabe sub that would. I guess I could say it now that he's passing fucking boxes of seeds.
Oh my god.
And it said fucking sub cool seeds right across the top of it, and it had a hole punched in it. I'm like, come on, we couldn't have just did it have to say sub cool seeds on the top of it, brother? Jesus Christ.
That's funny.
Definitely have been called out at the post office, like,
yeah.
Is there anything in this that shouldn't be into this?
Right.
And I'm like, that's where I use my legal rights right there. Is I'm like, nah, I just been smoking around that son of a bitch. I smoked 2 joints. It was sitting on the table before I left. I blew fucking smoke all over it. My bad.
Right.
Oh, it smells good. I can't smoke, but if I could, this would smell good.
Right. They know what's going on. People have been mailing shit for years. It's especially when it's just seeds. You don't have to worry too much, I think. And it's definitely been sending a lot more stuff to Canada. So
international stamps.
Is that the route to go? Just fucking stamp it and forget it?
Yeah. Well, you can get a.
Don't you have to put what it is?
I like the way I just looked over my shoulder like we're in a crowd. I'm going to tell you a secret.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure you know a lot more tricks to the trade than I do. I'm just beginning.
You can get an international stamp for $1.25, and you just basically put if it's just a pack or two, that $1.25 will skip all around the world. All you gotta do is put right on the envelope. Do not machine. Do not machine in an international stamp. And that same trip that cost you $20 would now be $1.25. And they'll almost make it like every fucking time. So just nice. I learned that from my postman. Yeah,
oh, wow.
Day he just kind of looked at me and he was like, nah, here you go. He even looked at me and winked. I hooked you up today. And I didn't, I was like, I went home, kind of like thought it out. I'm like, he did fucking do that. That's a huge hookup.
That's a lot of savings right there.
Yeah. Even if you question it, you know what I mean, on weight, even if you had to put 2 or 3 on it, if you had to question it as far as weight,
right,
it's still you've saved tons.
Yeah, that's a good little nugget right there. fuck UP or what's this 2-day shipping with the tracking is like $8, and that can get pricey sometimes, especially if it's far.
Yeah.
But I think it's fun to send shit off to far away places and kind of just let it just float around over there, see what happens, kind of thing.
I would have to think even more so in like your boat where you're sending your genetics, your project over. Be like, man, they are smoking my shit. blank, blank, blank. You know what I mean? They got
Right.
it in Russia. They got it in Germany. Fuck that.
Right.
That's a
Worldwide.
great feeling right there, man.
Yeah, man. I like to travel. So I think it was the last vacation I went on to like Hawaii, and I was friends with some guy on Instagram, and I sent him a bunch of seeds. And once I went to the Big Island, he met up with me and fucking I brought some dabs over with a had like a honey badger thing I took on the plane. I brought like a couple grams and like a vape pen too. But it was like a few days on the island, and I texted him. I was like, "Hey, I'm here. If you got anything, I'm down to like pay you whatever." And this guy, I think his name's Kakua Seeds 808. But yeah, he drove down to where I was at, delivered me a fucking giant mason jar, and I had way too much that I knew what to do with fucking on my vacation. And it was like all because I sent this guy seeds. He was real cool on the Instagram. We'd chit chat here and there, and dude is like, I'm forever grateful for that guy. Like he made the trip like the most amazing trip ever. Like it got to the point where I smuggled it over to Maui, and I still had a huge fucking thing of it, and I was giving it to like the street performers walking down the strip there in like the main city. And yeah, I just kind of was just amazed at the generosity and just paying it forward or doing something nice for somebody and then watching it come back, sometimes months or years later, and kind of really enjoyed that. It just made the weed that much better.
Have you ever run into your genetics? Not, you know what I mean? Actually, like run into your genetics where you just bump into somebody and they're like, "Hey, let's smoke this."
No, not yet. I don't think I've reached that. I've given it to friends and had them grow it out, and I've tried it, but not in the wild, like unknown. So it's definitely still waiting for that. But I sent some stuff up to I think he's in Sacramento or just up north here in California, and he's got like a big greenhouse going of a few of the strains that I've made. So I think I'm gonna stop by on the way to Emerald Cup, and I think it'll be like week 6 or 7 of flower. So maybe go take some pictures, and I'll be able to see it like grown out, like in a licensed facility, I guess. So hopefully I can run into it there and check it out.
I hope that you can see that dream happen too, man. It'd be cool to see it in the store.
Yeah, for
Yes
sure.
and no, right? Yes and
Yeah.
no, kind
Right.
of.
They probably change the name and stuff to whatever they want, but just to know that your genetics or the phenos you found kind of made it to that next level. But I think Brandon Russ grew out some of my Mac and Blueberry, and I think that made it to a dispensary out there. I think when he was working for his wherever he was working before the Black Label Organics, he had some blueberry packs, and then I sent him a few more because he wanted some. So I know he's working some strains, so he's always doing amazing stuff, and just watching him grow and the knowledge he shares is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, that's fuck yeah. I love that opportunity they've got there in Oklahoma to have here in Michigan, or I guess that's just being greedy. I could always go to Oklahoma and live the dream, right? It's got to come here to
Yeah,
my garden.
yeah, for
But
sure.
I've said this a bunch of times. If I were that lucky to go there and have that unlimited plant count, flower would be secondary to me. I
Yeah,
would be doing the same shit I'm doing right now, except I would go there and them boxes that I've got right now with them seeds that are waiting in line. I would just be like, pow, you know what I
right.
mean? Get the fucking
Yeah,
cubes. We are having, and I would just be pheno hunting, stacking that winter, pheno hunting, stacking that winter. All, you know what I mean? I don't even think I would give two shits about the amount of flower I was producing. I'd just give a shit about, having my own fire and just a farm full of just amazing genetics that I could pull out one at a time or whatever I see fit, man. That'd be the dream.
It really would be. I mean, they seem like they're doing it right over there. It's kind of opened it up for everybody and then let the cream rise to the top kind of thing where if you have the right genetic library, you can grow good out there, then I'm sure you'll be able to get rid of it. But at least just open it up to where whoever wants to try to grow or do it legally, then it's very doable out there. It seems like, and I'm not mad. I've seen a lot of guys move out there and just go Beverly Hillbillies and strike fucking oil. And it's just you're in Oklahoma, so or I've never been there, so I've been to the East Coast, but not really in the middle of the states. So I'm sure it's lovely over there, though. I mean, fuck, if you can grow whatever the fuck you want, however you want, kind of have your own little bit of land. I mean, Tiger King, wasn't he from Oklahoma?
I got the fucking Tiger King here.
That sounds like an
Shit
awesome
you
strain.
not, man. It is a pretty fucking good strain, actually. I got that from White Feather Grows, Oklahoma.
Nice.
Fucking Tiger King lived a couple miles down the road, and that was like their local strain. And that one actually like jumped over a bunch of shit. I was like, I just want to have something named Tiger King in the fucking garden. It was fire. It was pretty good smoke, man. Nice and piney. Closest thing I've had to pine yet, by the way. But
Still
it's
on the
been a
hunt for
hard
that
one
pine?
for me. There's people are trying to tell me I'm like almost like pine deaf, almost. You know how like you like because I live in a forest, basically a huge pine forest.
Yeah.
And they're trying to tell me that because I'm around it constantly, I'm almost blind to the turf. And I've grown quite a few pine strains out here in the garden. And they all seem to kind of lean towards like a dragon fruit kind of turf for me. I've had strains that, I didn't even pop from seed, okay? I've had flown across the country. Thank you, Jack, and the other people that sent gifts. You know what I mean? Try this. And when it's gotten here and went through the gauntlet,
it just didn't cut the mustard.
No, it's not. It's always that like dragon fruit type turf. It's like turn that pine into something else or something.
Yeah.
And I've kind of posed that question too. Could I possibly like use that turf, or you know what I mean? There's got to be a way to like, okay, this strain is known for pine. Okay, if it's not producing pine, then is there something that is the pine trying to tell me basically there's something in my environment that could be tweaked or isn't? You know what I mean? Letting that pine express itself.
Right. Something to think about. I mean, what's your nose or what is your brain calibrated at for the pine turf? Like what strain did you grow or strain did you smoke that instilled that pine? Like that's the pine, or is there a certain strain or cultivar that you had that was like that this is my pine strain?
Well, like a Northern Lights #5. I remember good pines from back in the day. I've definitely had great pines, and I've had the Xmas here, the Tiger King, the J1 from across the country here. I've got Colombian going that right now from North Star Genetics that is a piney strain.
Oh wow.
And like all across the board in the last year. Dragon fruit. And it's kind of like a running joke for me anyways, that because I just passed I'm not a breeder. crossed a few things together, but I'm not never tried to say I was a breeder, whatever. But me and Smiley have a breeding project going for the community.
Nice.
I guess the rundown on that is real quick is guy that started watching the show just like a lot of everybody else. He ended up getting involved with volunteering to come on the show, and he became quite a regular with the show and ended up passing last year around December, right around Christmas. And we wanted to put together like a dedication strain for him because he was very loved in the community. I mean, he definitely won us over, but didn't ever let us know how sick he was. We knew he was sick, but we never knew how far or how bad. And when he passed, we wanted to do something nice for him. And we ended up deciding to take his two favorite strains, Colombian from North Star Genetics and Jack Skellington from TGA, and cross those two together. And then we're going to give out the seeds to the community, to those who want them for DOA, like remember, like strain. And it hopefully something as hopefully the show goes on, things much for further, maybe walk it as a community together forward. You know, if somebody gets an amazing pheno out of that, maybe we'll work with that in the future and, you know, it around, clean it up, or
pass the baton
like
for sure. I'm down to grow some.
So Miranda Family Farms was nice enough to donate the genetics. He shipped me over a pack of Jack Skellington and a pack of Colombian. I took the Colombian because, of course, it was kind of funny how the pine slid in. I was looking for pine, and it just happened to, like, boom, right there. Here's a pack of pine. I was like, oh yeah, of course I'm taking this pack. And I gave Jack Skellington or to Smiley there, shipped it off to him. He popped those and did a pheno hunt over there, and I did the same here. So I've got a male and a number 6 female that I chose for the project, and same for him. And now the joke is, and now the Colombian leaves here with the dragon fruit, kind of turns, and it's going to come back piney as shit.
Yeah.
From Smiley's garden.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So
yeah, sometimes
it'd be funny if it does.
No, for sure. You never know what you're gonna get. Sometimes you think you're gonna fucking slam these two strains together and something totally unforeseen pops up and you're just like, wow, that's somewhere in there. Like, where was this? Like, but I mean, if you grow enough of them out, you got better chances of finding the kind of what you're hopefully looking for. But yeah, that Colombian and the Jack Skellington sounds pretty sick. I'd love to grow those out and fucking give it a whirl. Maybe I'll find some pine fruit.
Hopefully you do. You know, I've got good hope. So in the second round of the Colombian, it is kind of starting to produce somewhat of a piney strain. In the Xmas, I had, in all fairness, with the Xmas, I didn't get a good run out of it before I got to make a good call on it. But the Xmas male I have of it, it's funny, I'm not trying to be a breeder, but I've got like 4 studs laying around right now.
There you go.
But I'm not trying to make no seeds. I just happen to, I got the Colombian, I got 2 males from the Colombian, and I have an Xmas male that I can't get rid of just because he's so piney. Out of everything I got this one male that just like oozes pine.
Oh, there you go.
I've got to hit him with something. So I've been kind of toting him along. And then I kept this last one just because I think it's kind of funny that it's a tester from Empire Breeding Co., which is Milkman, which is cereal milk times his Gorilla Glue or barbecue gorilla version 2, which he's calling the Milkman. But I just think it if you're gonna have a male laying around, why not? Why can't he be the milkman?
Oh yeah, he's dropping off more than just milk there.
Yeah, large amounts of it too.
Yeah,
So I just thought that'd be a comical male
yeah, that
for a
sounds good to
strain.
me. I'm on board with that. Let's do it. Bringing back the milkman.
So, what is your current project? What are you working on right now?
Basically, right now it's just that God's gift Skywalker OG open pollination. I got probably about 5 or 6 males, 4 females, and a couple different pots outside. And then I have the God's Gift Chem 91 crosses that's doing open pollination. It's all in like the gazebo out back. So there's probably some pollen drift going on between the males, but I'm okay with that. And then I got another God's Gift Blue Velvet that's that I have males and females outside. So it's just a bukkake fucking sex fest going out in the gazebo right now. So I'm just kind of locking these down, and then just the next step from there is just to dig in the F2s and some of the stuff to play with, and just trying to work these older strains rather than a lot of the newer stuff that I've made. It's kind of like look back on it and I'm just like, okay, I have this locked down. I'm kind of just trying to find something that's unique and different rather than the next cookie milks blueberry strain. It's kind of like tattoos. There's the top 20 tattoos that everyone gets, and there's like kind of like the top 20 strains that everyone's working with. It's like a snake, a skull, a rose, but it's just their version of a snake, a skull, a rose, or a pinup, or whatever it may be. But definitely just trying to find some of that, dig through this older seed stock that the buddy gave me, and try to find a male in there, and then maybe work those first few breeding projects I did, find females from that, and then work that male, the Skywalker God's Gift male, or whatever I find in there. I'll run the progeny, find the females, and I'm guessing whatever females I like from those seeds, I'll find a male from that batch, and just trying to maybe take that route. I'm kind of open to everything. I might change my mind next week. And I was actually thinking the other day to trying to make some CBD strains that wash well. Like I just got some of this. It's called the Gift or Cosmic. I don't know if you can see that. It's like a 2-to-1 cherry wine, I think, and then I forget what the other strain is, but it's like a CBD resin mixed with some other stuff. And it actually, like, when you dab this stuff, it doesn't get you fucked up at all, but it like just gives you like a really relaxed feeling. So I was like trying to maybe getting into like finding some CBD strains that wash well, and I kind of like just doing my research, finding what I can't really find anything that's like that I've found that it says this percentage for this strain, or just even washing CBD in general. You usually don't get shit for returns, so it's better to do BHO kind of thing. But just something I thought about the other day, like maybe going down that path of, there was some strawberries and cream crossed with Magic Bullet from Exotic Mike. It was like a CBD cross, and I know the strawberries and cream. I have the cookies and cream. I have the milk and cookies. I've ran a lot of that cookies and cream cultivar or different crosses with it, and it seems to wash well, even for just do it in the backyard in non-good conditions. So I was thinking maybe grabbing some packs of that to do a future project, and just trying to find a good CBD washing strain, or creating one. But definitely have to get some testing done and see what the percentages are, and that's just a lot of work. So I don't know, just stuff like that.
Do you do a lot of washing? I love bubble head. Do you like to wash?
Yeah, definitely with all the seeds that I make, smoking that is just like it's like not very nice. So I just wash everything. I had like an old rosin press that I made from like Harbor Freight and just ordered the plates and the control box. So I was squishing a lot of it. So I usually just try to like concentrate it down from all that the seed stuff. So I haven't really smoked a lot of good flour just because everything's got seeds in it. So it's very rare that I have like good jars laying around with a ton of shit. So, but definitely try to make
No,
hash.
that's awesome. Yeah, yeah, I love my ass. I absolutely love my ass. So what's your favorite method? What bags are your favorite bags? When you go?
I mean, I like just like the little like I bought those giant bags on Amazon that was just like I think they were like $70 and they're for like the 50-gallon tote, that brute tote. So I had huge bags. I've tried that. And that's just a bad idea because trying to lift that shit after you have all the water and ice in there is just no bueno. So I like just using like small 5-gallon bags and then putting all the material in like a 220 like tumbler bag that you can just get on Amazon. Um, just do, I tried dry ice in there, regular ice, just like hand toss it. Try to do it at night when it's a little bit colder. But in LA, like today was like 90 degrees. It was hot today. So you got to do it in the wintertime, kind of like, unless you got a cold room or a freezer or something. But I don't got none of that.
Yeah, I definitely love my washing. I'm gonna actually probably try to wash out this. I'm thinking about like getting a little like 10 by 10 pop up and actually doing it outside. I'll run this time. I never do it. I've never done it. Never trying to even think about doing it outdoors in the nice cold weather. And it's cold up here in Michigan right now.
Yeah, you guys got that environment on lock out there for outdoor hashing. How
It's a
cold is it
long
right
time,
now?
man. Oh, it's every bit of 34 degrees, I'm sure. We'll live through. So I
There
ain't
you go.
bullshit. Uh,
You
well,
get,
this is one of the reasons I don't, man, is well, contaminants was one reason I haven't done it. Worried about things like snow or whatever coming getting in my shit. That's why I want to get a tent this fall. Number two is every time I wash, it's not it's not a wham bam. It's
yeah,
32. 32 feels like 26 right now. It's never a wham bam. It's usually like an 18-hour day of making hash, and I've usually like just thrown in the towel by the time I'm done, or or fill the machine up full of ice, throw the bags in the freezer, and nap out for about 4 hours while everything's like froze, and then get back up and go right back at it. And
right.
that's really hard to do outside.
Yeah, I would agree, dude. It's pretty cold to work in that environment and trying to clean up and be sanitary at the same time. It's a lot of work too. So it's not that easy. It sounds like you're just throwing shit in a bucket and stirring it up, but to do it right and be sterile ish. I used to have a golden retriever for like 8 years, and every time I washed the fucking hash, there was fucking hair in that fucking first bag every time. So once you have like a
It's
dog
amazing.
in the garden, it's you kind of just get immune
Always
to the
one
dog hair bud.
anyway.
Yeah,
One hair you find anyways. It's like, how in the fuck
yeah,
did it make it this far?
right. Especially when you got your head shaved, it's not yours. Okay, where did this shit come from?
This I love. Man, I I used before this dude right here, I had hair almost to my butt. Fucking into this ever since. I can't even imagine myself like with hair these days. I just love I'm stuck on the wake up and go.
For sure. Yeah, that's a
It's
lot of
paid for
work.
itself in time.
Yeah, definitely. I had dreadlocks at one point for I think I was 18. I had dreadlocks for like a few years, and then that was interesting for a while. So definitely like to switch up the hairstyles.
So like you brought up tattoos a minute ago. I gotta ask, what is your fucking most hated tattoo? What one have you done just repetitively to where like again, where'd you
Uh,
got this from? You almost know where they got the idea from.
oh yeah,
Ah.
it's. I mean, yeah, anything off like Pinterest or those like everyone started getting into those like simple black and white, like black and gray silhouettes of like the whatever that fucking thing is, the dandelion exploding into birds. Or there was a few years when those were like hot to trot. Like every fucking 21-year-old chick wanted a little something somewhere, and it was just like the little black and just those types of Pinterest tats, I call them. But I mean, if they're coming in and they're, it's only going to take you 45 minutes and it's, 150 an hour minimum, you don't really mind. But it's just, yeah, I mean, I'm not into lettering Bible verses or, I don't like doing portraits. I don't do portraits. I can't fucking, tattooing portraits is like its own level of, skill. You have to be really talented to be doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, everybody kind of just seems like once you start out, you're kind of doing a little bit of everything, and then you find what you like, and then you find that groove, and you kind of like are comfortable, and then once you're in there, you're willing to like bounce around a little bit. But I mainly like doing traditional, Sailor Jerry type traditional, maybe neo traditional the most, but I like traditional Japanese. I don't mind doing any of the kind of those tattoos. So
A lot of color, a lot of solid color in the older traditional designs.
for sure, it's like I think it's 1/3 black, 1/3 color, 1/3 skin tone, and then it's usually like an 8 round shader, solid outline. And I think I didn't like those tattoos at first. I was like, that's old. That looks like shit, and fucking, it looks like a cartoon. But the more you do tattoos, the more you see, and then especially the more you see healed and come back to the shop, and you start to realize that those solid tattoos are there for a reason because they hold up. If it's bold, it will hold, kind of thing. So with that heavy black outline, it holds everything together. And if you're able to tell what the tattoo is from across the room, the artist did their job. But if you look at somebody's sleeve and you can't tell what the fuck you're looking at, it's just like a hot mess with super detailed this and that. There's definitely got to be a balance to what you're putting on somebody, and that's the artist's job as a professional, to talk the people out of really dumb shit. But I mean, if you're getting those little Pinterest tattoos, there's not much you can really talk them into. I mean, maybe you can try to talk them into like a real tattoo kind of thing, like some sort of art style. But I mean, to each their own. So just, it depends on how you're feeling too that day. If you're just not into it and don't want to do it, then just pass it off to the next guy, I guess.
I always take the artist's input very with a lot of weight. And I've learned a few things. Never rush your artist. Give them a little artistic freedom.
For sure.
Your artist.
Yeah.
They say they're done. They're done for the day.
Right.
Do not even try to make your artist go past. I'm done for the day.
Right. Yeah, exactly. If they're rushing it, it's not the right guy for you. And Yeah, exactly. It's definitely like kind of find the right artist for the job. Don't try to make your artist fucking do something he's not really comfortable with, because it's probably not going to turn out that great unless you guys are homies and there's like a history. And it's like I'll tattoo dumb stuff on my friends all the time. That's like I would never tattoo on a normal client, you know. But yeah, definitely when you first get tattooed, I would say, you know, bring cash. Cash is king. Tip well the first time, like over 20%. And then that way you tip them well that first time, then they remember you. They're gonna like know that you're like for real. You're you know, you gave them a good tip, so they'll it's kind of putting you up on that little bit of a higher tier of like of a client. So if something opens up or you know something else, then you're not the one that's going to get skipped over, kind of thing.
Definitely agree with all that. Definitely agree with it.
Yeah, and don't bring any drama in. Yeah, it's like there's already enough drama at a tattoo shop, I'm sure you can imagine. So there's a lot of egos involved, and just be fucking cool, calm, collected. You know, if he needs another 20 minutes or if he's working on somebody else and, you know, he's running a little bit late, it's not going to do you any good to go in there and fucking look at your watch in front of him or whatever. Like, hey, I'm waiting here. Just take your time. Tattoos fucking take time. Like, I've had to wait and had stuff drawn up and it's taken hours. And then, you know, it's already like midnight by the time you start, but it's always worth the wait because the tattoo is not going anywhere. So,
You know what I've learned about the tattoo guys is they not only fucking know a lot of people in town, but they know a lot of shit about the people in town. I almost feel like I fucking should almost make my tattoo guy sign non-disclosure details.
oh,
Fucking
yeah.
just hey, that's what you do when you sit there. You just like, yeah, this is what's going on. I've sat through enough of them going, you know quite about a bit about everybody in town.
Oh, for sure. I can imagine in like a smaller town and everything. It's as soon as you walk out of that chair or out of the building, they're all gossiping and talking shit. And, you know, it's
It's
definitely got
therapy
like
though.
that. Oh, for sure. It's got a hair salon vibe where it's like as soon as the client leaves, it's a chatty Cathy. Everybody's like, "Oh my god, did you hear about that?" And you know, they keep secrets and shit. They're not, you know, they wouldn't be in business very long if you were fucking spilling everybody's guts. But yeah, I've heard so many amazing stories when I worked at the shop about there would be like old porn stars coming in telling fucking war stories and just people getting cover ups of fucking this relationship didn't work out with this. And yeah, it's
It's
definitely a crazy environment.
it is, and there are the stories are there. That's why I like to hang out there. Yeah, some of the coolest people I've met are at the tattoo shop for one. Flat out, a lot of people I've met, tons of great people from the tattoo shop. But just like this, I love hearing the stories behind the canvas and the canvas person. I love the real stories behind the tattoos. I got this tattoo because my brother died, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There's there's a lot of stories, good and bad, behind a lot of the tattoos, and I've been there for a lot of them. And, they're cool stories, really. You know?
Yeah, and
Good people, good stories.
it definitely once I know for me at least, once if I get a tattoo, I kind of remember what I was thinking at that time, what I was going through. It kind of like locks in that like time in your life when, especially if you're getting like kind of like a bigger piece where it takes a few months or you know maybe a year if you're getting like a chest piece, kind of like you know, you get that feeling after you get tattooed, you get that rush and you fucking want to eat everything and then you pass out. It
Oof.
yeah, the sheets of your bed start sticking to you and fucking all that fun stuff. So
Dude, I've got a traditional tattoo that I banged out in 3 fucking weeks time. And it goes shoulder to shoulder from here to underneath my ribs. A giant, a giant eagle, traditional eagle.
Oh, nice. Fuck yeah, dude. Is
Banged
that where
that fucker out.
is that where the
3
Eagles
weeks.
Gardens came from?
No, not even close. It's my name actually, but I have a few eagles, but that's
Nice.
and I actually went to him with a few different versions of what I wanted here, and he actually taught me into the traditional. It's
Yeah, if
gonna
you're gonna get
stand
an
up
eagle, you want a
longer.
traditional. You look tougher with a
I
traditional eagle.
I've got one on my calf that another guy did that is black and gray, and I like that one as well. But he was the first guy that made me understand what another thing you said. You want to be able to see it from a distance and
Right.
know what the fuck it is.
Yeah.
You know
No,
what I
that helps
mean?
usually. It sounds silly to
Don't make
say,
me
but
try to cram shit down. That's stupid. Let me blow it up, make it is what it is, so it's nice for a good long time.
right. Yeah, if you can tell what it is from across the room, it's gonna look good for a long time. And a lot of the newer up and coming like tattoo guys, they're doing all these like photorealistic, not a lot of black outline, like heavy color, no skin color or no skin tone coming through. And if you don't do it right, there's a lot that can go wrong. And it looks good right when you get it, but after the sun hits it for a year or two, and depending on how you keep your tattoos and cover them up in the sun, the shit just doesn't age well. Everything kind of expands over time, like the fucking universe, and if there's no black in there to hold it, it just kind of like it's just spreads faster. I think the black and the carbon like makes like a wall for it to hold, and that's why you see the old sailors and especially the Japanese. It's that like 16th century like Indo block print Japanese like style where it's like same thing. It's like the heavy outline. It's got I think Japanese is usually like 60% black and gray with like the wind bars and the clouds. And then it's got that, when you look at a traditional Japanese tattoo, you can tell what the fuck it is like right away without even having to like, oh, it's a samurai on a koi, or, it's like their tattoos look legit and everybody's kind of like impersonated that. And it's like definitely a good formula to follow for like started with the traditional Japanese from way back, and then the traditional Americana kind of took a lot of the same aspects but like made it their own way. And definitely different styles, but I like both of them and I can appreciate them both. Like even like the newer stuff like the black and gray with like the Chicano style is really big out here in LA, or big script. It's just so many different artists now and more selection, kind of like the breeders. It's like everybody's starting to breed now, or everybody's starting to grow, and you're getting a lot of different variety and different styles. And kind of what makes growing so cool is there's just you can do it your way, and there's no wrong way or right way. It's just doing it.
I definitely have. I wish I would have started with a vision. You know, I had to piece together a lot of shit, or unfortunately made my artist piece together a lot of shit, which was probably even worse for my artist because that's asking a lot. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? The sleeve should like fall together, can be designed together. It takes a hell of an artist to kind of pull other people's work and to make a random vision one. You know what I mean? I think so. Yes, definitely have your work cut out for you sometimes.
yeah, for sure. I mean, as long as you try to stay with the same, artist or a better artist. Like if you're not happy with the stuff you're getting and you're kind of like, this is like whatever, just don't be afraid to step away and seek other artists out. Like I like traveling and getting a tattoo from somebody while I'm traveling kind of thing. I used to do some conventions, and getting tattooed at a convention kind of sucks, but if it's something in the guy's wheelhouse and the guy only does sugar skulls or something, then I would be down for it. But it's definitely cool to go see other artists and go, maybe when they had the tattoo conventions going on. So check that out, and kind of like going to like Emerald Cup, but just tattoos and shit. But anyways,
Yeah, that's kind of where I went. I wasn't traveling, but I was definitely looking for new artists, scouting good artists at the time. Yeah, one here, one there.
right.
When I finally find a couple good artists, it's hard fill in the gaps. Like
Right.
my lower half's almost completely black and gray, and now once I come up into the torso, I'm trying to mix colors of black and grays together, which I'm kind of liking. I didn't think I would, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
but I kind of like it. Starting this leaf here with the Buddha and the Hamza and whatnot. He's got his work cut out for him there. But I kind
Oh
of
yeah.
like the back and forth of the color, and the black and gray.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
I'm gonna kind of
If
at
it's done
least
right, it
piece
can
it
look
in
good
this
for
way.
sure. Hell yeah.
It was kind of sad. I actually was looking at some. I do a lot of like looking at tattoos and shit, and tattoo artists' work and all that good stuff. Happen to have like a Google top 10 cliche or fatty tattoos. I think I fell in. I had like five, at least
uh
5 of the 10 in that genre, like one way or another. I'm like, oh, really?
yeah. I mean it when yeah, exactly. There's when I first started there, they were like, okay, you're gonna just draw these 20 things, trace this sheet of flash. Like they had me doing all the the bitch work, the scrubbing tubes, the autoclaves, the freaking prepping the machines, getting everything set up and sterilized. So it's yeah, I mean most people they'll tattoo there's 20 things and that'll be their wheelhouse, like most shit. But yeah, if you're looking for like that next level, it's definitely you can't, like you said earlier, you pay what you get for. So
Yeah, no more flash, that's for sure.
right, the pick and sticks. So
So, how bad did that palm hurt? How long have you had it?
I got this probably, I don't know if you can see it here, probably 2016 I would say. And it was like a stippling. So he took the needle and he didn't outline it like a regular line or a tattoo. You just kind of just stab it over and over and over again. And this was like it took 2 times for it to stick, because the first time it kind of hollowed out and fell out a little bit. But I went back for round 2 and he darkened it up. So definitely sucks not having your hand for a while, but it's in there now,
Very
so
fun.
I'm good.
That's 2016. That's a good run. 5 years on a hand tattoo or palm
Right.
tattoo. Well, they say it can be done if it's a good artist. They kind of have done a few before. That's a painful. That's the most painful spot, isn't it? The palm.
It definitely sucked, but I think I don't know. Like I have my torso done too, so that's not that much fun. So it just depends, I guess, on how you're feeling that day, and like if you got a good meal and a night's rest, that can make a world of difference. Um, or if you have like numbing cream and shit, like you can play around with that for a while. I don't know.
scheduled for the 22nd for probably the most brutal fucking tattoo I have ever had. I actually, when I had it done, I didn't tap out, but I was pretty close, and I just wasn't there. Most times when I'm in that seat, I'm there because I like we've kind of talked about earlier, man. I'm just wanting to fucking get something out, man. I'm in that phase of my life, man. I'd just rather ink that shit out.
Yeah, for sure.
If I got something all built up, man, I'm usually just fucking let's fucking ink it out, man. But and I started coming up the side and into the armpit a little bit, and I was like, man, I'm just not there tonight. He ended up
Yeah.
what did he say? Come on, man, another half hour or something like that. I'm like, yeah, we're good. But he ended up tapping before I did. I was gonna tough it out, but
Right. Have you ever tried
so
Bactine?
I've used a couple numbing sprays, and I may or may not use some this time, but I've got a Shiva that's coming up my side, and it's gonna blend in with the Eagle. So
Nice.
it's coming up through the armpit. I got a tree coming up through the armpit and possibly up onto the nipple. I told him, man, if it's part of this fucking design, ink that bitch.
So you're gonna cover the nipple up? You're gonna tattoo over the nipple?
If
After?
it's yeah. Yeah,
Ooh,
I'd rather have it part of the fucking design. It's pierced now anyway. It knows a little bit of
you
pain.
better bring something to
But
bite
fuck
on.
it. Oh man. Well, like I said, that armpit ain't,
Oh, that's the
I've
worst. Yeah,
been into
armpit.
this area and on this arm,
Yeah.
a little bit, just, and this is pussy shit, fucking little line up into there, just getting into there. I haven't pounded no color into there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm expecting pain.
Oh yeah.
Second.
Yeah, but
Forecast calls for pain, as Mr. T would say.
right. And the artist is just laughing the whole time, just fucking. You'd be like, "What did you bring your tap shoes today? You fucking dancing all over the place, and fucking." They like to fucking
Said
give you a
pretty
hard
well,
time.
but fuck yeah,
Yeah.
He's been on the show a couple of times.
Oh wow,
And
I'll have to check it out.
fucking, I've seen him do it to other people, and he's done it to me, and I actually got him to do it on the show to this one cat. The slap, set that ink in.
Yeah.
Set that ink in with the slap, and he did that Eagle. It's like last thing he did. He's like, "Yeah, feel that shit." Whack.
Right.
Fucker, because we're pretty good friends, and I've seen him do it to quite a few other people. So he hits me up, man. We're kind of like talking before the show, and he's telling me he's doing a Cheech and Chong on the top of this guy's feet. So it's a portrait of each on looking in on each other on each foot. And he just done Chong on the one foot, and he's like, "Hey, you guys want to check this out?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Go ahead and log on. Show us the tab." So he logs on. He's showing us the portrait of Chong on this guy's foot. I'm like, don't forget to slap that tat.
Set it in.
He laugh, yeah. He lets us laugh off. Doesn't even say nothing.
Fucking.
The guy just whack right on top of the foot. I mean, it sounded like a wet ass slap. He just like
Gasoline just dripping.
He fucking sat right up. Oh, you motherfucker! Oh man, I never laughed so hard.
Yeah, that's like a cup of coffee for you right there.
Oh yeah.
Good
times good times at the tattoo shop. I've had some good laughs. So.
For sure.
So how we doing on time? We're checking in at 2:16. We still good? We got some time. You want?
Yeah, I got about probably a half hour left in me, I think.
Cool deal. Man, so where do you've been on any cannabis journeys? Have cannabis led you on, I'm going to, here to go see that, or have you chased cannabis anywhere?
Yeah, I mean, when I was like 18, I went to Amsterdam for the first time. And I went with like one of my older brothers. He was supposed to be the chaperone, and I went with three high school buddies on like a backpacking trip. And that was kind of right when, but the first stop was Amsterdam. Um, and then we stayed at this place called like the Flying Pig. It's like one of their top hostels, or one of the hostels that was like in the travel guide and stuff. And I remember staying there when I was, 18, just checking everything out for the first time. And I definitely hit the first thing we did was went right to the coffee shop, and I fucking got the menu. I sat down with my one buddy, and I remember we just ordered like White Widow and I think some other strain, and they just brought us like a bong. And from then on out, kind of like fucking got high in there, checked it out, um, traveled around the city all day, all night, just smoking. And I was you were allowed to drink at 18 over there, so party and go to the clubs. And yeah, I just remember hitting the coffee shops and getting a little bit of hash, or I forget what the strains were when I was there, but definitely experienced cannabis. And it was like I went to Amsterdam, and it was like a month and a half long trip through Europe. So it was all backpacking, taking the Eurail train. I went to like Munich, Germany. I went to Rome. I went to Interlaken, Switzerland. And even in Switzerland, you were allowed to grow weed and smoke weed, but you couldn't sell it. So we stayed at a hostel out there called the Funny Farm, and they grew weed in the back. And it was like a beach volleyball court and like a patch of weed with like a little bar in the back. And I think we slept in like an old barn or something with like bunk beds. And I remember we ended up buying a hookah somewhere in the trip in Italy or something, and this guy kept packing the hookah full of weed. This guy that ended up taking us on a canyon tour, it's like cliff diving and rock climbing at the same time. And so he took us on he smoked us out with all his weed on the hookah. And then the next day we went and took a tour from him, like to go cliff diving. And I was like, I don't know if this guy's like fucking the right guy to be jumping off of cliffs. And then you have like a helmet on and like a life vest and shit. And this guy was just completely nuts. And yeah, I don't even know what kind of the weed he had, but it was total homegrown. Now that I look back, it wasn't trimmed right. It was just like the guy was just packing it full. And I think we got the whole fucking hostel high that night, and everybody just kept taking turns out of the hookah. And it was just like after that, and just hanging out with all these other travelers, it was like I was like, dude, this is way cooler than fucking getting drunk and not remembering what the fuck you did that night. So kind of just had a lot of good experiences with cannabis. And uh yeah, and then my buddy that time had like a recorder, so he recorded a lot of this shit on like VHS, like a big old school fucking Macaulay Culkin type fucking handy cam thing. So I definitely can like look back on those times, and fucking definitely cannabis made that trip like a way better experience. And just meeting all the different kind of people from traveling around smoking weed together kind of just brought the whole thing together. So definitely like traveling and smoking, I mean, when you can find it. So uh, I actually went back to Amsterdam in I think it was 17 or 18, and kind of tried to redo my childhood trip, but I went by myself that time. So I went to Amsterdam again for a week. I rented like an apartment, and I fucking went to every coffee shop and just fucking, I would do like 2 or 3 a day and try to hit everything. But kind of wasn't, I didn't get seeds. I was just like in there just to, hang out, smoke. I met a ton of people. I met some Dutch girls, and ended up going to like an Ed Sheeran concert on mushrooms while I was there, and it was fucking amazing. It was just, I was tripping balls with this chick, and you was just hearing all the Dutch accent trying to sing Ed Sheeran the whole night. It was just hilarious for me. Fucking But it was I mean, the show was full of women. Like Dutch girls are pretty fucking hot and they're tall as shit. So it was definitely a fun experience.
Sounds like a fucking amazing time. Both times. And please tell me you went back to the hostel the second time.
Oh no, yeah. I went to the Flying Pig and it was still there, but I don't think it was open or it was there were still people in there. So the Flying Pig was still there, but that Funny Farm, we went and they had closed down. And then I guess the rival uh, hostel kind of took over this place called Bombers. It's kind of like a corporate type thing. The other one was like a farm and like a barn type environment. And everybody's just get smoking weed over there. So yeah, I definitely tried to retrack and I tried to look for that guy. I found him, the guy that smoked us out. He moved to Bern, Switzerland, and he got married, had a kid, and he was on Facebook and shit. So I kind of just messaged him, and yeah, I went back to that where they did the tour guide. That place was still open. And I was like, "Where's this guy named Cliff?" And he never took his sunglasses off. That was like the weirdest thing. Like at night, during the day, the fucker had his glasses on. I was like, "Dude, what's up?" So I like, dude, just take your glasses off.
Diving off the cliff.
Yeah, he took off his glasses. His eyes were like completely shut. Like he's just high at all times. I was like, this guy is amazing. Like, fucking a hero for me.
I got to be honest with you. The whole time you're telling that story, I have the weird way my head works. It's fucked up. But sometimes I will visualize the story as it's being told. The whole time you're fucking talking about it, for some reason, that guy I casted in my head, the fucking guy, the dealer for Grandma's Boy, as that guy. So as you're telling, as you're telling the story, I see fucking Dante the whole time, as that guy jumping off the cliff, the whole thing.
Yeah, that's pretty much the guy, dude. He was Mr. Positivity, fucking, you can do it, like the fucking ultimate cheerleader, because you're like, it's like cold water and you're fucking jumping into these like little ponds of like, just river water, I guess. I don't know. The ice caps are melting up there and shit. And so he's like, you can do it. You can do it. And fucking he was ripped the whole time and just like one of those like adventure guys, like kind of like that skydiving type where they just want that rush. He's definitely like you said, just a fucking Dante, like that kind of persona or personality where it's just a fucking amazing spirit.
Drunk on life, almost, you could say.
Right. And yeah, we must have smoked an ounce that night. Like, and my brother, who was on the trip, supposed to chaperone, he doesn't smoke, and we made him fucking hit the hookah, and he was fucking so tore up that he was like, the next day, he fucking slept in. He was all hung. It was drinking that night too, and so once you drink it and you take a hit, and you don't used to taking a hit, you're just going over the edge. So he passed out, and these 3 German guys that were there that night smoking, we let him into the room, and they started drawing on his face, and like he woke up just covered in fucking Sharpie dicks, and fucking the one guy had whiteout, and I thought it was toothpaste, to be honest, but it was fucking whiteout. So he I thought it was toothpaste. He's like rubbing it on his fucking head, and like put it on like some of like the back of his neck, and then when he woke up, he was just destroyed. So it kind of fucking soured the rest of the trip for him, but it was funny for us at least. And then when he woke up, and I was like, oh, there goes the German guys. The German guys were leaving that day because they fucking just drove off, and my brother ran downstairs, and fucking he looked like a fucking disaster. That whiteout wouldn't come out for like 3 days. So he saw him as they were driving out, like, oh, there he is, fucking American bitch, like just talking shit to us. It was pretty funny.
It's fucking hilarious. It'd probably look all tribal with the whiteout kind of just blended into the skin like that. I would have, in fair play, would have assumed that the whiteout would have washed off.
Yeah, it
You
did.
never know until you do it once, I guess.
Right. I mean, we were all laughing with it. I mean, that we stepped in at the end because it started to get a little crazy, but yeah, it was definitely a trip to remember for sure. Like wild shit going on.
Why doesn't that urge? Why do we not grow out of that urge? By the way, I don't even drink to this day, but I've been around people at parties and they fucking passed out, and it's still that urge. Like, hey, you want to ride out? It's still there,
Right. Oh yeah.
still there after all these years.
I don't
And
know. It's something about it. You got to kick them while they're down sometimes.
I don't know. It's just maybe it's just how close you are to them, I guess, too. You know, it's
Right.
good to have some good, clean fun with some folk, your friends anyway. Sometimes I grew up with friends that we did that kind of shit to each other all the time. So
Oh yeah,
just good, clean
for
fun.
sure. Especially if you're good with a Sharpie. Like I can get pretty talented with a Sharpie.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. Being a tattoo artist, right? Oh, holy cow. You'll appreciate this. Hopefully it's still on this phone. If not, it might be on the computer, but I got time to look for it. Might be another phone. So, standing joke at the tattoo shop there is
Yeah.
with buddies. Okay, buddy, back to the buddies. Okay, is I'll draw a dick on your back. There's a few fucking buddies there that of the artists there. We're all pretty good fucking I don't know why I'm playing endo dope here. But there's one guy that actually absolutely it isn't the one I'm trying to show you here is just and that cat sat around forever that night trying to wait for you gonna fix that, right? And he never realized it for the longest time that it was just marker.
Oh wow.
But one cat does actually have like an explanation point dick on his back, and it's one of the funnest things I've ever seen. I'm trying to find. He was there the other. Oh, it just died. He just there the other night. He's doing a back piece on a friend of ours, and just for funsies, he's like, "Yeah, I'm tattooing the fucking dick on your back right now," and he's like telling him the whole time. The guy that got the explanation point on his back, it says he wanted it to say "fuck you," and it says like "fuck you," and the one U, it's got like little miniature dicks that spells out the U, and then it's got an explanation point that is a dick.
And he was cool with it.
He told him the whole fucking time he was doing it too. And the guy's like, shut up, you fucker. He's like, no, seriously.
Was there alcohol involved?
Yeah, probably. But it's more of a guy wears it proud today, man.
Fuck yeah, I would too. That sounds like a great tattoo story. The best tattoos are usually the ones that are the most fucked up.
So this guy's got a Viking on his back, on his shoulder, basically back here, and it just happened. And he the funny thing about it is he took I don't know how many. I will get you this picture, by the way. I think I dumped all the pictures onto my computer, but I'll make sure you get this picture because it's fucking hilarious. It's like a Viking, and he even like took pictures of it. And he's like, yeah, it's looking good. And we're like, you don't see that dick on your back? And he's like, no, you guys are funny. And we're like, it's there. And he's like, he tried to see it. I even took a picture of it with his camera and he couldn't see it. But
yeah, you better be careful.
It was like right around the nose. He took a darker, like a bluish black kind of marker that kind of blended in with the black and gray and like harden it in around the nose to where the nose of the Viking looked like a dick. And,
my
and once
God.
he seen it, he thought it was fucking permanent. And he stayed around the shop for fucking practically all night long. You gotta fix this thing, right?
Fuck.
He ended up going home fucking tired. I'll be back tomorrow. He came back in the next day. He was like, "Why didn't you tell me it was just market?"
Oh my
He
God.
actually thought it.
Wow.
It blended in so nicely, and man, oh,
Yeah, especially when
I,
it's on your back, you can't really tell what's marker and what's just ink sometimes. It's hard to see when
yeah,
that
because I
shit.
took a good picture of it with my phone. I'm like, there it is. He's like, you fuckers, you fuckers.
Right. Yeah, definitely, dude.
I'm so now I'm actually I won't let him do my back now. I'm like, you ain't thinking what I
Scared
did on my back.
now. Yeah, be careful. You want to see that drawing before you get any work done. That's like the must.
Check it every 10 minutes too.
Right.
I'm so gonna get you that picture though.
No,
You'll
I
laugh.
love those. I
You'll
love those
definitely,
pictures.
as a tattoo artist, you'll definitely appreciate it. I've seen him do it a few times too, not necessarily with the dick. I've seen him just like fuck with people. I've seen one lady came in and wanted like there's the divide thing, the Michigan State. I hate Michigan.
Yeah.
And he ended up like they wanted a kayak for one reason, and he ended up like, look at the blue M I put on your kayak, and it was just pen. But she stewed
Fuck.
for the longest time. Really,
Oh
you
my.
did that shit? They had friends. It was like right under the neck. It's there. Really? He did that shit? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh man. Such fun. Such fun.
Yeah.
He, uh, they got a good sense of humor, and obviously it's all friends that's been, repeat people to the shop here.
Right. Yeah. No, for sure. That hanging around the shop and stuff they're always playing tricks or fucking sometime when a guy would take off, they would all the artists would draw little stencil fucking penises. And you know how you usually have your stencils or drawings on their board where you're working. So they would go, and when the guy would go out for lunch or the client was coming in, they'd all put like little tracing paper dicks on all their tattoos, just like over the top. So the client would come in and be like, what do you fucking, everything you do has a dick on it. Like just playing jokes like that and fucking creeping people out and stuff like that. It's just good times over there.
Creeping people out is definitely a theme over there. His shop, he's got like 7 foot, every kind of like tall massacre things. They all move. He just got this weird, creepy baby that rocks back and forth and sings some kind of,
Yeah, I think I
certain
saw that
days he'll have it
video.
all.
Was that Halloween or something when he was going out? You had a video up of the shop?
Yep.
Yeah, I saw it. That was cool.
Again, you tattoo guys, pretty cool, boy. I hang with a lot of tattoo guys. You guys are all right.
Yeah.
Good bunch.
Appreciate that. Yeah. Definitely a lot of friendships for sure. Definitely a lot like the cannabis community. Everybody's super chill and everyone's got their own flavor of whatever they're on. So it's definitely a lot of parallels between the tattoos and cannabis.
That's what I was gonna say there. You got two pluses in your book there. You got cool ass tattoo guy and cannabis grower. My book, that's two good checks right there. Hell
Yeah, definitely my passions for sure. It's kind of similar. You get that once you get your first tattoo, it's kind of like popping your first seed. It's like once you start to realize, oh, okay, it's not that bad. I can do this, or you get over that fear of getting your first tattoo, and then it's like, well, what the fuck am I going to get next, or what seed pack am I going to get next, and you start off on your journey.
Oh man, tats are definitely very addicted. So it's collecting seeds though, as far as
Right.
that goes. I thought that was funny earlier. You said, "How you gonna spend all that money and not pop them fuckers?"
Right.
Sadly, that is a very untrue statement for me. There's so many times where like they're almost like baseball cards to me. You gotta have that one just in case. But there's so many times where on the other side of things where I've stated, I don't want to necessarily be growing what everybody else is growing. So I've ordered like that pack of seeds that I wanted, but when it landed, it came with some freebies, and I went,
Yeah.
Chuck, you know what I mean? There goes
Right.
that pack I just paid for, and I'm going to run this because I haven't heard of this yet, and this sounds
Right.
really fucking good. So
For
I
sure.
have a
Like,
lot of shit I paid for that I haven't popped yet.
yeah, I agree. Like, I think I ordered from, what was the seed bank? JBC or Labyrinth Seed Bank. And, you order two, you get one freebie. So I would order from them, and then I'd send them like 4 or 5 packs of whatever I just had kind of just pulled down and stuff. And once you like send them some freebies too, or like I recommend it because I've been rewarded handsomely. Like I think I ordered a bunch of Professor P stuff from Labyrinth, or yeah, one of the seed banks anyways, and I sent them some stuff too, and then they just gave me like way more than I asked for, a bunch of freebies, different stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's worked for me in the past for sure, especially just trading too. I like to trade with other people, and if you have some cool strains that I like, I'll be like, well, whatever you want, I can, or whatever I have available at the time, just kind of, I'll ask, but like, what do you like? Just send me whatever you like, and I'll send you, if you want certain things, I don't mind. So it's worked out for me. And even I did it with Exotic Mike. I've used his milk and cookies in a bunch of crosses, and I brought him like 2 packs of everything I made. And I think it was like the San Bernardino High Times Cup. And I brought him a bunch of stuff. He was being super cool with me. I think at the cup they didn't. It was like a last minute like cancellation thing where they like had the permits pulled, so you couldn't like smoke or sell weed. But it was all the seed vendors and like other guys were there, so it was kind of like a fucked up environment. But I brought him a bunch of the crosses. He was like super stoked. I told him about it, and he ended up just hooking me up. I bought some stuff from him, and he gave me like 5 or 6 free packs. So a lot of my crosses that I made that year, I just had a bunch of exotic stuff that he hooked me up with for free. So that was super cool to, you kind of feel intimidated, like giving somebody their own shit back. Like, of course, he doesn't want my fucking milk and cookies cross. He's probably growing out of fucking 300 different seeds of that, but he was super cool with it. And he was really happy. And he's like, yeah, man, keep working my gear, whatever you want with it. And fucking was super cool. And definitely look like Exotic Mike's a pretty cool guy to look up to. Seems like he's doing it right, at least.
Do you have a memorable basically underdog that like we were talking, one that I didn't see coming that you're like, man, that turned out to be fucking fire?
Underdog, like I think there's the orange apricot, and I crossed it to orange apricot mac. I crossed to a blue blood skunk tangerine, which is like a strain from Blue Blood Genetics. It's a skunk tangerine from Oregon Kid crossed to his Purple Punch OG Kush strain. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I grew out some of the seeds, and like it just had these real interesting, like kind of like leathery fan leaves. And it was the leaf to calyx ratio was like the calyxes were kind of just reaching out and just had this really cool look to it. And I grew some of them out. Some of them just look like the orange apricot mac type, and then there was just a good blend. And definitely, like, I had this chick made a croquet, or like a piece of art of it. I took some pictures, and this chick would do needlepoint, I guess. It's like kind of like old people needlepoint where they do the thread and they just kind of build it up. She made a little art piece for me of it, and definitely liked that one. I smoked the shit out of it right away. It was kind of tasted like orange bread. It had like a bready terp to it, kind of just like a sweet bread. And then it had like a real dull citrus, but the smoke was really good, and kind of just, I just remember enjoying that one a lot. So that would probably be like something I wasn't really expecting, but I ended up really enjoying.
Sounds delicious. Bread, I've never heard of bread as a kind of brought into that. It has like, when I think of like bread, I kind of think of like a bland like taste. So it's hard to.
Yeah, it wasn't like yeah, definitely had like a, I don't know, I just remember it's like smelling a loaf of white bread. It kind of has like that, just has that scent, but then the citrus from the orange apricot kind of like came over the top, and just had a different, I wasn't expecting it. I was just like, oh, this is interesting. See what came out of this. But yeah.
So what's been your favorite terp that you have discovered? We talked about the weirdest, but what's been your favorite that you've come across so far?
Well, the, if you cross anything with the Mac, it kind of, definitely a lot of Mac comes through. So the orange apricot and the regular Mac cross I made, those have been good. Like the structure, the frost, and the vigor has been all right. But for like the, wait, what was the question? The most interesting or my favorite terp?
Favorite.
I've grown out. So I like the purple punch was interesting when it came around, like growing that out and like having that kind of artificial purple taste was interesting, but like purple punch, it doesn't do anything to you. It just fucking, it's like cotton candy, just fucking dissolves. It doesn't really get you high. But definitely like this the Chem 91. I never really had any chems before. I kind of was too young to be around when the chems were hot, I guess, back in the 90s or 80s or whatever that was. So definitely getting a lot of the tennis ball terps, the diesely, gassy, kind of has like a cleaner smell to it. So I was really enjoying that, just kind of like hearing everybody talk about it, and then finally me getting to experience it for like the first few times to like see what everybody's talking about. So been, had a couple good females of that I grew out that were really nice, and then I guess just that Skywalker. I've been kind of like, I remember that when I was coming up smoking for the first few times, I was always going to the medical dispensaries, and that was always one of the top shelf indicas, or sativa, depending on who you talk to. But yeah, just that Skywalker terp where it's got that OG Kush, but it's, I always feel like it's kind of like a metallic-y kind of aftertaste, something where when you smoke it and then you breathe it out, it's got like, it's like a full body. And I don't know, it's just kind of one I remember from when I was younger. So I'm kind of just really hyped on this new project I've been working on. It was, I don't know much about it, but growing all the seeds out and just seeing what I see, and kind of like having like a throwback of terps that I can play with and lock down these genetics, and hopefully bring this to the next level, and just keep working. And I like popping new stuff, so I'm always on the hunt for different terps or exotic terps. Or I was even trying to find like a pumpkin pie terp. I like pumpkin pie, so I was like, oh, this kind of sounds like Thanksgiving's coming up, or it would be nice to have like a seasonal bud, kind of like Starbucks, where the fucking all the seasonal shit pops up, and you can pop that one, or get like an autoflower of it and just fucking let it rip.
It, I'd support you. I'd support you on your pumpkin quest. But I'm telling you, right, I'd be like, come on, fucking more pumpkin, because I'm not a pumpkin spice like fan. I'd be like, more fucking pumpkin spice, Jesus,
Yeah,
it's in everything.
it's everywhere, but I mean, it could be a hit.
I'm always,
Everybody can't be wrong, can they?
I guess, I don't know. I'm trying to fight it. I'm still trying to fight it. To be honest with
Yeah.
you, I'm
There's,
always amazed that there's pumpkin spice. I seen pumpkin spice donuts the other day. I'm like,
oh
really?
yeah,
Pumpkin spice donuts?
yeah, it's everywhere. It's spread like a fucking zombie virus. And it's always
Everybody
certain people that like it.
loves
It's never, not everybody loves the pumpkin spice, but pumpkin pie, it's, if you don't like pumpkin pie, there's probably something wrong with you.
pie. It's good. Definitely pumpkin pie. It's good. Pumpkin spice. You're right though.
It's, yeah, once you get that artificial shit kicking, it's something in there. Something else is going on.
It'd definitely be a fun one for the holiday though.
Yeah, it's like some gingerbread, pumpkin spice, kind of festive terps.
It'd be definitely fucking interesting a conversation piece at the dinner there.
Right.
You know,
You just,
there's always that after sesh that everybody loves. I brought the
yeah.
dessert pumpkin. Ah,
Yeah.
ah. That'd
I,
be pretty neat.
for sure. I go out to Vegas to visit my mom for Thanksgiving the last few years, and she knows that when we show up, it's fucking smoke. I go out to the garage and just fucking blow it down inside before the dinner at least. And the last couple of years, she's been taking a hit too with me. So wait till all the dinner's done, and then we freaking partake, and then partake again.
I've definitely have a bunch of friends that I've kind of revisited that drew that line at some point. No cannabis. Now I'm like, now that it's legal, you want to smoke a joint with it?
Yeah, right. Yeah, for sure. People are coming around. It's taken a little while. Like my mom used to partake in the early days when she was young, but like, you know, like you said, when you're having kids, you're growing up, you kind of have to like make some decisions. And now that she's older and retired, it's all just fun and games. So I tried to get her to eat a gummy fucking on the golf course the other day. Fucking, she knew better.
Man, I love this day and age as far as cannabis is involved. The people that are like you're saying, that are outing themselves, trying it for the first time. It's like in some cases you're like, I knew it.
Right.
And then there's like the ones that have tried it, like you're saying, you're like, really? They tried it? No shit.
Yeah.
We're getting that. There's certain ones that you know, like you said, that they tried it. No shit. We're getting somewhere. You know what I
Right.
mean? We're getting somewhere. We're getting some
Definitely.
gold here.
Yeah, especially with all the options of fucking tinctures, creams, and topicals, and everybody's favorite candy fucking infused with who knows what. It's definitely, you know, there's no reason not to. It's fucking everywhere. So whatever floats
My
your boat.
favorite stories are the older folks, like, you know, let's say 60s, 70s, 80s, you know, that was cannabis may have never been part of their life, you know what I mean? And now they're trying it, you know, getting rid of some of that pharmaceutical medicine. And, you know,
Right.
there's a couple of stories from Florida that my stepmom's a cleaning lady down there. She cleans a lot of houses for elderly people, and I get to hear the stories second hand. But it's always funny to hear, you know, I'm off my meds. You know,
Right.
stop taking a lot of stuff. I'm trying the cannabis now.
Yeah,
That's
man,
always
it
good to
works.
hear.
Definitely works,
How
man.
you smoking it? Smoking it in my bowl.
Right.
It's always funny to hear, oh man. It's like, it's the sparkle in their eyes at that age about something like that. You know what I mean? Newfound.
Yeah,
It's
anything to
awesome.
help that quality of life just coast on through to the end. So I think it definitely makes a difference for sure.
Should have been a long time ago, but yeah, we're getting there.
For sure. For sure.
Well, I think we've hit that half-hour bridge there. It gives me a few minutes to kind of wind up some stuff, go over a few things with you. I
Yeah,
again
let's do it.
appreciate you hanging out tonight, man. It's been a lot of fun talking with you. Of
For
course,
sure.
hopefully, sounds like you've watched a bunch of episodes, so hopefully you already know what I'm about ready to say, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Ah,
Yeah.
uh, please keep the Zoom invite that I sent you tonight. That is the same one that I used for the We Nerd Worlds. Now that you've done this portion of the show, you are welcome to any episode that is the We Nerd World. You don't need an invite. It is strictly by want to. That's how that works. I don't text anybody. I don't, hey, you coming on tonight? It's strictly, it's on, and I want to be a part of it. So uh you have the invitation now. Anytime Monday nights are always Weed Nerd World. No guests, always Weed Nerd World. Any other time is like tonight I may pick up for a little while. Actually, it's going for more than a little while, I believe tonight. Tonight will be the first night of the 420 takeover.
Oh, way
And
cool.
I'm starting to loosen up a little bit, and I'm starting to, because I always feel guilty at the end of the night when shit, there's still 66 people watching right now. To shut it down, close that door on,
Right.
66 people, whatever. It's always tough. So we've kind of come up with the idea that at 420, I'm just going to kind of check out, resume my responsibility, and go get to my garden work. And I'm going to start turning it over to a couple of the regulars and letting them just kind of run it until they feel they've had enough. So the morning people can get in. Some of the folks that aren't able to usually catch the third shift hour will now get a chance to participate a little bit more. So
Yeah,
it's
way
it's
cool.
gonna run for now. It's question mark. Now it's like 11:30 to 4:20 for me, and then whatever
Your
happens
shift's
after that
over.
will
Yeah.
be.
After
Yeah.
hours. It's all the good
Yep.
shit
Yep.
starts popping off. Yeah. Yeah, I wake up early for work. So when I'm waking up, you guys are usually just hanging up the hat. So I usually catch the last 45 minutes, an hour, and then I'll go through and listen on the podcast or whatnot, just kind of doing my thing. So I appreciate the show. Definitely during the pandemic, you were doing the shows every day. I think I stumbled on there from that Irie Jeff or Rasta Jeff was talking about you, and I kind of switched over and kind of like I just really appreciate the show, and it seems like a good group of guys you got there and girls, and it's just I usually don't do interviews or anything kind of like this, but definitely made it feel more comfortable and just telling my little cheesy story or whatever I have to share. It's just fun to hear different people talk about different things, and it's definitely unique to your show. And sometimes you listen to the same kind of podcast over, and it's just the same people saying the same things in different ways, and it's fun for a while, but definitely I like what you're doing here, and respect it a lot.
I can't thank you enough for those kind words, man. Much like you, I very much believe in doing things for the right reasons, just for the right reasons. You know what
For
I
sure.
mean? It tends to work itself out. And these stories I've said this a bunch of times. I take a little bit of something from everybody. every one of these conversations, I take a little small piece away, something, that may enrich my life or better me as a person. It helps me in tons of ways. So I thank you, man. You guys' story, enriches my life more than you guys will ever know.
Oh yeah. No, it's amazing. It's a pretty cool podcast, and definitely look forward to future episodes and chiming in. And yeah, the weed, what's it called? The
And I'm
weed
hoping
nerd
so.
hole or what?
Well, we changed it. It was the rabbit hole. It changed it to the wormhole. Now it's Weed Nerd World. On some
Okay.
cool's birthday, in honor kind of to remember him, I changed it over to Weed Nerd World. That's basically the concept. What Sub Cool did back in the day set the tone for what a lot of these shows ultimately did.
Mhm.
You know, you know,
I, I
just
just
getting on
recently,
and providing the
yeah,
forum
I
for
just
us to talk
recently
about.
started watching his old videos. So like, it's kind of cool to dig back and watch the past, and then see how the new shows are popping up, like you said. But yeah, he was definitely a wealth of knowledge and kind of ahead of his time for sure.
Miss that dude. I
Yeah,
would
he
much
was.
rather be sitting in his chats than doing this. Here live, I'd be still sitting in his chats, but it is what it is. But you know, it's based a lot around what he did, the community he built. We are all weed nerds, and ultimately, I just want to keep his. He was a good friend. I want to keep his thought in the community alive. And that's when you look at the title. It was I actually changed it to Weed Nerd World, but it was Southern VT Grower in chat that wrote it out the way I write it now, and that's W in capital letters, WE lowercase e d, capital NERED, capital WORLD. So it's we the weed nerd
Right.
world, basically, because he was the weed nerd, but we are the weed nerd world. So
Right.
that's what it is now. So
Super cool. I love it.
hopefully now you're part of it, my friend, and
All right.
hopefully we will see you
Pass
more
the baton,
often
baby.
in the weed
Let's keep
nerd
the show going.
world.
Hell yeah.
With that being said, man, one other thing I'd like to get from you before we hang this up, and that of course is the sound bite. At some point, I will re-air this portion of the show, basically as go back and watch that episode. So, kind of what I'm looking for in my words, you can make it whatever you want, as long as it's kind of got this gist in it. We're cool. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking for, hey, this is Eagle, and I'm on fucking Talking Shit with Eagle, episode 521. You can do anything before it, after it, long as it kind of's got that in the body of it. I am more than grateful. I'm hitting record now.
Yeah.
There you go.
Awesome. All right. This is episode 521 of Talking Shit with Eagle. This is sfvgenetics signing out. Peace and love.
Thank you very much, man. Has been a fun night, great conversation. Everybody in chat has said tons of great things. The mods have thrown your link out many a times. Hopefully, a bunch of you have transferred over, given your account a follow. Welcome,
Yeah.
giving you a warm welcome into the Weed Nerd world.
Awesome,
And
guys. I appreciate it, Eagle.
thank you very much, man. Time is the most valuable thing we have, and thank you for donating yours to the community, my friend. More than
Anytime.
one way. Seeds, everything you do, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate it. No, it's all good. I love it. So I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Well, with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. I know you guys have enjoyed this episode. Give us a few minutes, or give me a few minutes, rather. You can come back. You can come back if you want to, brother. Check in. But give me a couple minutes. I'm going to stretch my legs, fill my tray. Hopefully, you guys will do the same. But if not, thank you for your time. Remember, random acts of kindness do save lives.